Welcome everyone. As always, big shout out to the great Stone Loki for my wonderful intro that he made for me there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clobberin Times issue number 136 on YouTube, but 836 overall. And of course, also welcome to Clobberin Times Monday night Mark C Comics talk, and we got a special one planned for you tonight. I'm gonna before I get rolling with that and tell you what we're gonna do and everything, I want to welcome for the first time on this show one of my oldest. Yeah, he is old also, but I mean in terms of how long I've known him. Oh, he's old. You didn't look it though. One of my oldest friends, as you can see, just came out of the ice because he looks like he was just frozen with the super soldier serum, and he doesn't look a day over 6. I mean 20. I mean 30. Or maybe 40. Nah, my wonderful dear friend Steve Mitchum. Hey, buddy.
Maybe all of the above added together.
You've seen him in the chat. You know him. You love him. You can't live without him. How about that one? I wanted to revamp my intro.
Well, I'm no Raquel. You don't have as much material to work with me as you do with her, but I'll try my best.
Well, no one is Raquel. But
you guys have chemistry. The way you guys play off of each other, I think you're both better when you're together than you are. Because I've seen her without you. I've seen you without her. There's just something. You guys just have chemistry and it works. So
she's the best. Love her. And again, he is, of course, if you're not familiar, everyone referring to my wonderful and beautiful first officer who rides with me on Saturday night Star Trek, the extraordinary Raquel Briggs, my wonderful friend. And and speaking of that, I'll make a show note about that in a second. But thank you all who were here Saturday night. I hope you all have just a tenth of how much fun as Raquel and I do. And we say it before and even later after the stream. We talk about how much fun we have. We look forward to it every week. And it's because of, look, we hang out a lot together when we talk, and we have a lot of fun with that. And you guys just make it 10 times more fun. So I appreciate you all for what you all do for us on Saturday nights. Thank you for that. And before we get to what we're doing here, let me say some hellos to some fantastic friends who've popped in. Of course, Minimus is here, but we won't really say hello to him because he's just not worth it. I meant to say hello, Minimus Prime.
Hail, flawed parish.
I knew you were going to do that. I was waiting for that one.
He knows I do that. Anybody that knows Claude knows you do not insult him because he will destroy you.
It's like Spot.
Claude is the best at spontaneous destruction of an opponent verbally.
Yes, well, he is, but he's not what he was in the 80s or 90s. But he's still okay. He's still good at it. Yeah. Except for you. Yeah. Except for you, buddy. You're still a super soldier. The great Chris Persia, Master of Wrenching. Hey, buddy. Always appreciate seeing you here, my friend. Always. We thank you. Oh, another good old buddy of mine, Charles McCreth. Hey, bro. It is always good to see you. And I'm always honored to have Jax Mama here. Hello there, Jax Mama. Thank you so much for being here, dear. It is absolutely lovely to see you. Thank you for popping in. We really appreciate it. The great Lord Thoth, fantastic buddy. Yes, sir. As always, Avon lives and LLL. Long live the Legion. J-Man, my new pal. By the way, he has a great channel. If you have not checked this out yet, his and the channels of many other wonderful friends and YouTubers here, you can check in my description below. There's a link to his fine channel. Please check that out. He loves to geek out like the rest of us and have a good time. So thank you for popping in, J-Man. Appreciate you, buddy. Snortapoopus Cuber. You're a good bear. Good to see you, Snort.
I still maintain that Dr. Herky and Snortapoopus should form a YouTube channel together called Dr. Snorta Monkey Poop.
I would watch that channel. I would subscribe to that channel. You guys get on it. Get on it. Elagabulus. Take a crack at pronouncing that for me so I'm not the only one.
I would say oh boy, now I had it. I can do it when I'm not. Yeah. Well, it's got a lag. See, I expected second G there. Elagabulus.
I'm Elagabulus, however it is pronounced. I really appreciate you. You've been a cool, fun friend of this show since you popped in, and we appreciate you, buddy. Another good pal, Alex James. What's up, my brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm just going down the line here. I'm a little behind on my chat.
Mr. James?
Mr. James?
Oh, was a gentleman?
Some weirdo named Steve Mitchum in the chat. We'll just pass him up. We don't know who that guy is. Don't
Security.
trust him. JT Kirk, welcome, my friend. A new fantastic friend of the show. Appreciate your participation, sir, and your starship captaining of prowess. On the shows that we do on Saturday nights. Thank you. Bob culture archivist, or as I like to call him, pop culture activist, because he doesn't like that. Jed, what's up, brother?
Howdy, Jed.
Elizabeth M., sister of our great departed friend, the great Mark C. Hello there, Elizabeth. Lovely to see you, my dear. Thank you for popping in. Oh, and another lovely dear friend of the great Mark C., Stephen Shure, Lisa P. Lovely to see you too. Beautiful lady. It is a pleasure to see you. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. I'm a little behind there, everyone.
And he's got a little behind.
Wish that were true. Ironcaster, you caster of iron, you. Good to see you, bud. Our buddy. He hung out with us a little bit for a while last night on Jed's stream. A little impromptu stream. We had a little bit of fun there on Pop Culture Optimist. Let's see here. Still moving, everyone. I'm getting there. Well, slow I am in more ways than one. Metabolically speaking, especially. Let's see here. If that's even a word. Almost there. Just want to catch up. I think I got everyone who is here at the moment. I don't know.
Did you catch Phantom Outsider?
I may not be there yet. There I go. This thing is just slow on this chat here. Phantom Outsider. Love that name. Good to see you, buddy. And Dad Man Walking, the chap with the scariest avatar on YouTube. It scares me.
I think Phantom Outsider is trying to lure you in a little bit there, Clobby. He said, hail to the chat. One of John Byrne's best creations, Aunt Petunia, the younger than expected Aunt Petunia. I guess that's sort of.
I actually like that. Yeah, I actually
sort
like
of
that
a creation.
Mr. Gas Mask Animations, Jack. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Oh, Jack's
appreciate you. Yes, Jack's here.
Nice. Oh, yeah,
yes,
there he is.
Indeed. All right. Well, anyone else who pops in, we will say hello to. As everyone knows, this show, of course, will eternally be named after our great dear departed buddy, the great Mark C. And he is, of course, Mark Stephen Shure, as you all know. And today would have been his birthday, if I'm correct, 48th birthday. And he is with us here because we're going to talk about his favorite comic book artist. You all know, anyone who knows him and knew him, and many did, he loved comics. And he, of course, a great artist in his own right. And I used to call him Steven all the time then because we started doing the show so much, and all these people on YouTube know him as Mark C. I just got used to calling him Mark. So it's Mark, he's Steven. He is a clobberer through and through, and he loved John Byrne a bit ago. Back, I don't know, somewhere around last summer, Mark and I did a show where, because we both love comic book art. Difference is he can draw, I can't draw flies, but we did a show where we counted down our top 25 all-time favorite comic book artists. 48. There we go. Thank you, Elizabeth. And no shock to me or anyone that his number one was John Byrne. I shocked him a little bit, though, because Byrne made my top 10. I said, if I remember right, I said, dude, you sitting down, man? You're gonna get because I'm critical of some things Byrne has done here and there, mostly from a writing and a decision-making, creating standpoint, let's say. But I do love his art, especially his older art, as you can see a little bit of an example in our background there. And just think he's, again, just so his work was terrific and stuff, especially in the older days. And to talk about that a little bit, his art, Byrne's career, and that sort of thing, because I know he'll always like to talk about Byrne. Did Mark? I brought here my good buddy, as you can see, Maddie's daddy, Steve Mitchum. We're going to talk a little bit about Byrne, his career, and things like that. And, of course, Steve, who is an artist also, will be telling us a little bit about, he'll be talking about Byrne's art and art in general for us. So, before I start showing some pictures or anything like that, Steve, opening thoughts about BYRNE, John BYRNE.
So he's a good comic book artist. He's very solid. I think I might look at things from a slightly different perspective than just your average comic book reader who's never studied art. So I thought maybe I would discuss some of those things tonight. And maybe because you can like somebody's work and not know why you like it. So I'm like that with music. I don't know, why Boston's chord progressions are great or whatever.
You just like it because that's what it's for.
I just like it. Yeah.
Pat S. What's up, buddy?
But there are reasons why you like it that the artist will know that the viewer won't always know. And so maybe if I don't bore people to sleep tonight, I can show some examples and we can talk about that. And as my way of having Mark's back or Stephen.
Yes, right. Stephen and Mark. Mark, say it again.
Mark, yeah.
Because you know what? We know that he loved this subject. He loved comics. He loved talking comics. And so we wanted to do something just kind of to celebrate him a little bit, to have a little fun. Because I know he would want us to have fun because it is sad. Look, I get sad every time I think about it. Every time I think about a topic for my comics related show or any other show, but especially on Monday nights, I get sad because it's a topic that he'd have been the first one I would have gone to say, hey, man, want to talk about this one? Because we had a bunch of them we did want to do. So there's a sadness there. And I know it's melancholy for a lot, especially his family. And we love you all for being here, his family. And the sadness kind of gets to me on that stuff. So, but I know he would want us to have fun. He would, if he were here talking about this tonight, we would be having just a blast talking about one of his favorite subjects. And that's what we want to accomplish tonight. And like Lisa P said, who knew him very well, so Stephen Cannon did talk about him for hours on end. One of his that was his number one too. He had him at number one. I think I had BYRNE. I think I may have had him at 8 or 9 or so on my list, which I know it still surprised him because I beat up on BYRNE a little bit, but I love his art, and so I guess we'll start talking a little bit about. I will say, and this is coming from someone who doesn't know art, but I do know comic book artists in terms of who did what. And I can even, again, it's funny, if someone who can't draw, Steve, I can look at certain artists or pencilers and go, I can tell you who inked them on that one. I can tell you who inked them on that one. I can do that pretty well. I don't know if that doesn't mean much, but that's it's kind of an important thing because back then, when John BYRNE started the industry, he started, I believe, with Charlton Comics. Well, I think one of the first comic books he ever drew was Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. Remember that cartoon? And
I cannot say that I do.
It's an old cartoon from the early 70s. Not if it was Hanna-Barbera or whatever. In fact, I'm going to pull up a picture of it.
Penelope Pitstop and Dick Dastardly. And
no, that was Wacky Races. I'm not sure Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch was connected to that. I can't even remember the animation studio that did it. But John BYRNE worked on that comic book. And he worked for Charlton Comics. He drew some Space 1999 comics, some Doomsday Plus One comics, some Emergency. He did a character called Rod 2000. Let's see here, but it would be hilarious to find a picture of and Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. Yep, I'm going to find a picture of John BYRNE, one of his first comic books. And I never got a chance to ask Mark if he has this, but I know someone who does. And so let me see here if I can find the BYRNE one.
While you're doing that, great. Now I feel a great sneeze coming on. Of course. You
could mute your mic whenever you have to. It's a cough button thingy.
No, I can beat this.
We just mute ourselves.
My mind to the sneezes mind. Okay. So while you're looking for that, what did Mark or Stephen, for his family who's there, what did you think of BYRNE as a writer? I know your main beef with him is his writing, and I am I'm with you in some areas, and I'm on the other fence in some other areas. Like, I think that the way that he had, and spoiler alert, if you didn't read the Man of Steel miniseries back in 1980, what, Mike? 1980?
It was 86.
86. Seemed like I should be calling you Clobby.
Either works, buddy.
I like the way that he did. He did some very logical things, like the Joker. Well, that's actually skipping ahead a little bit, but he had Batman beat Superman without kryptonite or magic. He just outsmarted him by putting a bomb in his own belt, and I had not seen that before. Not to say that no other writer has done it, but I had not seen it. So I thought at the time, or when the Joker hid Jimmy, Lois, and Perry in the city in lead boxes, and he said you can either you can either save them or and it only took him 1 second because he logically realized that if you scan the city with the X-ray vision, the only things you can't see through are lead, and so that's where you go.
Well, he was a big fan of his writing as much as he was. I mean, I don't know. We never got into. I mean, in other words, I'm sure he had, like anyone else, criticisms, stuff here and there. But I've liked some of his writing as well. But I was always thought he had very extreme deficiencies as a writer. In my opinion, I was very critical of him as a writer. But I think Stephen did not share that opinion. He was a big fan of his writing because he loved that revamp that we talked. That was one of the main bones of contention he and I've always had about BYRNE was his revamp, just as you and I have discussed it and argued about it. But Latino Slant,
Hail.
Paulie, what's up, brother?
Latino Slant, ¿cómo estás?
Hey, Adidishness, and what he said, and good to see you. And Pat S, good to see you, brother.
What he said.
So, for example. Hey, Mark, the Infinitely Tired. Hey, bro, good to see you, man. Thank you for popping in, buddy. Hope I didn't miss anyone else, buddy. But
thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, but he loved that Superman rebirth, the revamp, and he really liked his entire FF run, I think. Whereas for me, the first couple of years on the FF, I liked of BYRNE. But he did love both of those. And of course, I also really like all of BYRNE's writing on his Star Trek stuff for IDW, which we'll talk a little bit about later.
Right.
I think he's an excellent Star Trek writer. Flash, the great Carrie Fisher's here. Hey, bro.
Hail, Flash.
So, yeah, he did. I think he was pretty, and I think he liked this Next-Men stuff. Again, as far as I know, I can't speak for him, but I think he really thought very highly of his writing. Now, again,
Lisa P says that he loved both.
Yes, he did. He loved both. So they answered the question, and she answered it way better than me. He did. I have a lot of issues with some of BYRNE's writing, and like some of it, especially his Star Trek writing, and his first 2 years on FF. And by the way, the Claremont-BYRNE collaboration on X-Men, that was the comic was never better when it was and when it was the two of them, and I believe a lot of that was due to BYRNE. BYRNE did a lot of the plotting.
Okay.
On that, in my opinion,
there you go.
Claremont, because I mean, to me, he never did the comic. D. Bud Martin, hello there, good to see you.
Hey, D. Bud.
He never did. In my opinion, Claremont never did better work than when he was with BYRNE on X-Men. But that's just my opinion. I mean, it's a bit different.
Right.
So, but one of the first comics he did. Now I can't find. If some say it might have been his first, it was Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. As you can see, this silly comic right here based on a cartoon from Charlton. And it was a very cartoony comic. Now, again, I can't remember which issue he did of it, but anyway, that's just to give you an idea of the comic. I'm not saying that's the actual issue.
Right.
Joe Staten did it, and some other artists did it, but he worked on that.
Humble beginnings.
Yes, for Charlton Comics. But let's see here. He also did. I want to find a picture of Rog 2000. Because I have a lot of. Go ahead.
I would say I think a Latino post or Latino Slant posted you. Sorry for the bad accent. I used to date a Mexicana, so she was always criticizing my accent in Spanish. I think he said that you've reached 800, or maybe it's him that reached 800. No, he's got over 1,000. He's got over 1,000.
Yeah, he's a big leaguer now, man. Love you, Paulie. I did. I hit.
He is.
Again, I keep losing it. I mean, I actually it went higher than that last night, and then I've already dropped some, so I can be below 600 tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah.
The YouTube is really screwing around with subs, but that's.
I've subscribed to a lot of channels, including Paulie's, but I almost never get notifications. So something screwy is going on. as Polly would say, cabrones.
Yes.
As Polly did say, actually.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yes.
So anyway, but let's see here.
Yo también, Latino Slant.
Okay, so yeah. Anyway, Byrne worked for Charlton before he worked for Marvel. He did a lot of different crazy stuff for them. But then, of course, he came over to Marvel. Let me get rid of this off the screen there. He came over to Marvel. And I really love his early stuff because for me, Byrne, and we talked about, Steve and I talked about this a lot. That's going to happen through the course of the night, folks. Sometimes I'm going to say Steven, sometimes I'll say Mark. I mean, I'm just going to say this. But we talked about this a lot. I loved Byrne's earlier stuff when he worked, when he had Joe Sinnott inking him, especially when Eric K, what's up, buddy? When he had Terry Austin inking him, who was just extraordinary. One of his earliest works for Marvel, though, was on Iron Fist.
Yep. I have number one. I forget when I stopped buying Iron Fist. I had it all the way up until Heroes for Hire or Power Man and Iron Fist, I guess.
Yes. I loved Power Man and Iron Fist.
This speaks to me so much because you got a blonde-haired, blue-eyed kung fu master. And remember the name of his corporation was Rand MITCHUM.
Yeah, that's right.
MITCHUM, Ward MITCHUM. And the original spelling of my name is MITCHUM. So how could I not be attracted to? And I practiced Iron Fist kung fu. So.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I know.
How could I not be attracted to this? Yeah, and Captain America.
He had a stint on that. We'll mention in a sec here too. And he went on that. He was on that. I don't have any pics of it, but after that, he actually worked on Marvel Team Up. I remember about a couple of years back, I stumbled on a cheap, a fairly reduced in priced omnibus called The Early Marvel Works of John Byrne, and it compiled all of his kind of miscellaneous type stuff. Before it wasn't his X-Men run or his FF run so much as it was his Marvel Team Ups, his Iron Fists, his Hulk Annual, all these different things that he did. He went back to Hulk later, but he did a Hulk Annual, inked by Bob Layton. And the thing is, the takeaway there is he was never allowed to ink his own stuff until he took over FF.
Right.
When he went,
had grown so much.
When he went back to FF, because he had worked on the series before. And with the wonderful Joe Sinnott inked him, and that's my favorite Byrne FF, just in terms of visuals, was when Joe Sinnott inked him. And this will be a couple of examples of that. This was actually a Marvel 2-in-1 right here, but that's Marvel 2-in-1 number 50.
Yep.
Where she actually wrote it. This might have been, I could be wrong, everyone. This may have been his first writing in art combo. Maybe the first thing he ever wrote for Marvel. I'm not sure.
I have his run on that.
Yeah, he did a few issues here and there.
Yep.
And he did some covers. He did part of the Project Pegasus saga, things like that. Let's see. But yes, and of course, as you know how much I love the Thing, as did Mark. And this issue it's kind of a loopy story, but it's kind of fun too. And it's just, some of my favorite Thing art of all, outside of Kirby, who's my favorite, of course. I love this because Joe Sinnott, of course, was also my favorite inker on Kirby. He also he touched more Fantastic Four comics than anyone who ever lived, Joe Sinnott. And because he inked Kirby, he inked Buscema, he inked Buckler, he inked Perez, Pollard, Byrne, and friend, everybody that came after him as well. So yeah, he did. He touched more Fantastic Four than anyone, and his influence, he sort of brings a Kirby-ness to even the Byrne stuff. Yeah. So I just loved him, and there's a couple of pages.
That's one thing that I really liked or appreciated about him was that he had, I don't know if it was a sense of humor or something, but he would sometimes draw in the style of classic artists, most notably, like you said, Kirby.
Yeah, in a sense, and again, coming from someone who just knows comic artists but not art, you could almost make a case that Byrne was in something of a hybrid between Kirby and Adams, somewhere in the middle, the larger than lifestyle, and yet he could make someone look like a person, like that page.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because if you look at his early work, like you pulled up Iron Fist a minute ago, he admitted that he essentially ripped off in the early part of his. You may have read this too. I read an interview once where he said he found a piece of artwork, and I forget where. And he looked at it and said, wow, this is some pretty crappy Neil Adams. And he looked at it again and remembered and said, oh, crap, no, it's not. It's really good John Byrne. Yeah, and his early stuff, at least in Marvel, which is where I started, the first things I have from him was Run on Iron Fist. And it looks a lot like Neil Adams. And also, you're going to think I'm crazy. I want to see that tattoo, by the way.
Yeah, J-Man, that's cool. He's got an Iron Fist tattoo. Cool.
That's really cool. Yeah,
I like it.
That is very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I've been doing Kung Fu since the late 70s. So that's how old I am.
You're old, dude.
Yeah. But the other influence, and I could be off the mark here, but you're going to think I'm crazy. If you look at his earliest stuff in Marvel, he does a lot of facial expressions that are really reminiscent of the old Speed Racer cartoon. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm
wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet my life on it. But
you know what's funny about that is in an interview. But John Byrne, everyone did an. I've talked about this recently. I love old comics fanzines. I love the Comics Journal. Those wonderful long form interviews they had. Well, one of the first issues I've got of Comics Journal was an issue. It wasn't a Byrne issue, but it was where all the backlash from all kind of he said such offensive things in that interview, quote unquote offensive in quotes, that I could say on the stream right now without getting, I'm not even monetized, but I could get in trouble for saying on YouTube. He said some things that would get him canceled 20 times over in that interview, and very controversial things. But I went back and backtracked after that. This was in the early 80s, and I managed to snag a copy very early on of Comics Journal number 57. And if you are a Byrne fan, and I remember, I think I recommended this to Mark a long time ago. I'm sure he picked it up or something. It has that one of the biggest interviews with him, right when his stardom, his comic stardom of an X-Men artist was really hitting big. And it's in that interview, he does a lot of things. He makes fun of George Perez, his facial expressions that you're talking about, or like the arm waving movements and things like that.
Yeah. I am in no way gonna defend John Byrne's personality.
Oh no, I'm not just saying that.
I don't really care for him as a person that much. I think he's a little conceited and a lot of things, maybe I shouldn't be saying this on Mark's birthday. So we'll just let go.
Oh no, I used to tease Mark about that all the time. And Mark,
I come to praise Caesar, not to bury him.
No, I used to tease Mark. I used to say, dude, look, you're the biggest John Byrne fan I know outside of Byrne.
Yeah.
And he'd laugh, but he knew that.
That's true. But Latino slant, pinches viejos. ¿Qué quiere decir viejos en inglés?
Welcome to Clobberin Times Espanol, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I never get to speak it anymore. It's like Chinese. Like I was hoping Esh would be here so I could greet him in Mandarin.
Well, I'll get you on with Carlos one night. You guys, you met him, but you met him. But yeah, I'll get you.
Mi chino es mejor de mi español. Que mi español. See, right there, I messed it up already. But
I'll give you go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I'll give you an example of Byrne left to his own devices, and then Byrne inked. Here's a Byrne Synot cover of the FF.
Yeah.
Here's a Byrne Pure. And by the way, this is what I was really liking. This is when I didn't mind him inking himself that much, but I really thought he shouldn't have inked himself very often, especially later. But this is a great cover, by the way. This is a great comic. He wrote a great story in this one. I was really loving the FF book at the time. But let's see, Byrne Alone.
Yeah.
Which I love. It's a commission he did probably. And I love it. It's great. Again, back to this one where I believe I don't even know who inked this one. I'm going to guess it was not a Synot and not even an Austin. It looks like a Joe Rubenstein or somebody like that. It looks like, or maybe it was a black chick. I don't know, but I'm thinking of Rubenstein. Someone might know in the chat. I don't know. I don't think you could find an inker on there. It's got Burns. It is Synot. Okay, it looks like Synot. Yeah, it's a Byrne Synot.
Is it?
Synot, really. Yeah, it's a Byrne Synot, I believe.
Yeah. If you look at that thing,
the coloring kind of threw me off.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, okay, that's good. No, good bit. Nerdporial Life. Excuse me. Sorry. Nerdporial Life.
Nerdporial, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
That's very clever. Nerdporial, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, man. I like that name.
Me too.
Welcome, sir.
Wow.
But yes, I love this because this is just simplicity. This is Well, Sinat did tend to overpower people, but I think in a good way.
He did. We'll leave it at that. Latino Slant is calling us old. Latino Slant is calling us old, and he's right.
Yes, sir. You would be correct, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is BYRNE and Rubenstein. I thought Rubenstein was great on BYRNE. This was his Captain America run.
He tended to simplify BYRNE. Yeah, he simplified his brushstrokes or his his pencils a little bit, which I think is a good thing.
I'm pretty sure this is from that run. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
He did. And again, if you look at, because I'm going to talk about this a thing BYRNE did much later. Mike Beat, welcome. That will be, and then I'm going to harken back to some of this art because again, this is beautiful, clean art. Fully inked. Later, so much of BYRNE's pencils or the inks on him because he did it himself, look like chicken scratch to me. It did not. Again, a lot of his later stuff for DC. You're saying he overworked it, right? Too many. I think he was lazy, and he had very lazy backgrounds a lot of the time. Of course, and like most comics are today. Look at what Sinat. Look at on anything Sinat does. There's all kind of great background stuff to it. He spends a lot of time on that. Whereas a modern comic book today, see this page right here, you would see the figures and the word balloons, and you see nothing else. Look at that last panel. Well, look at all the panels with all of the visual. Again, you're the artist, not me, making it look like motion because both BYRNE and Sinat were good cartoonists first because these were comic books, and they make that look like moving action. Very Kirby-ish in that sense. This page is very Kirby-ish because it moves so well. Looks like a fight. It's moving. It's not static like a lot of comic artists. And a lot of that's coming from BYRNE and Sinat adding background stuff. A lot of comics today that you see, and even later BYRNE, that panel would have no motion or feeling to it. See, now this is where we're going to disagree a little bit. I think that actually BYRNE got better as time went by. I don't think so at all. His backgrounds used to be erased. I'll give you examples in a little bit. All right, let's see here. But here again, you have a pretty good BYRNE stuff right here. That even though he's inking himself on his FF run, and interestingly, by the way, this next cover, this is again a BYRNE purely inked cover right here, and here's BYRNE Sinat. When we also did a show, Mark and I, called our favorite all-time comic book covers. I don't know if you were here for that one. Where we counted down our top 25 favorite comics covers. This was on his list. I can't remember the number. But this was one of Mark C's top 25 all-time favorite comic book covers. And it's BYRNE and Sinat. It's one color, as you can see. I've always liked this cover, by the way. It wasn't on my list or anything, but I've always liked it. But this was one of his favorites. And a Sinat. I don't know. He just makes the FF. I don't know. I like the cleaner look to them as opposed to the kind of, I don't know. Okay. Here's some pure BYRNE. Not great BYRNE. No, he just did it for a cover of a fancy. BYRNE got, when BYRNE started out, his compositions, like you went to one a second ago where it was like a split screen. And he did it just by putting in, I think Dr. Doom was in the center, and he had these sort of mechanical pieces radiating out from the center to divide the screen up into quadrants. Which one? Let me see. It was one or two back. That one there, yeah. That's a classic, the four-panel thing, the four-piece thing. But it's not great composition. And he got much better at leading the eye around the page a little bit. Remember deadlines. A lot of times they had deadlines for covers. Sure. Comics, but I think one of the things that I will have to respect about BYRNE begrudgingly is that I think that he actually evolved more than most artists as he went along. When he started out, all of his compositions, all of his characters were these just straight up and down. People were talking to each other in a straight up and down. And as he went along, he found interesting ways to layer the Z depth. Z depth is closer or further away from the camera. And he would find ways to layer that so that the character right in front of the camera is overpowering the one behind, and he would use things like that to show who was winning, or to make you think somebody was going to win, to make you think, Reed's about to get clobbered. See, this is a busy cover in a not so great way. I think this is a busy cover in a great way right here. And it's a cleaner. And this is busy, but it's supposed to be. It's an anniversary thing, but I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so sometimes a busy cover works and sometimes it doesn't. And here's Byrne ripping himself off, by the way, which I always thought was funny. This was a pretty good cover that he did.
Was
and
sense of humor.
Then when he went to DC, he did it again right here.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. He did
Except
that.
This is actually, oh no, this was the mock-up. I forgot the other one. This is a mock-up. Someone took Superman and replaced, see? That's what they did.
Yep.
But he actually did that with instead of it being the FF. I forgot. I picked the wrong one. That was the Legion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't find the right one. Damn it. I forgot. I wasn't looking. I was in a hurry tonight loading the pictures. But he copied himself.
D-Bud Martin, sorry for interrupting. D-Bud Martin said he sold original art for FF 246 at his store, for the cover at his store. Wow.
Damn, dude. Nice.
That's nice. Cool. Clobberin used to own a comic book shop.
Oh, now you're going to get Eric K on my case. Thanks a lot, dude. Here, I thought he was a pal.
Clobberin had the best comic book shop. It was when Clobberin closed down, I stopped. I still picked up the odd title here and there, but no more than like maybe 5 a year or something. But Clobberin had the best comic shop.
You're too kind, buddy.
Well, no, you were too kind. That's why you had to close it. You were giving everybody discounts. I said, stop giving me discounts.
That's true. When I gave away free comics to everybody.
You were too generous, but it was. I'll never forget the Tribble fights. The Tribble fights were the best part. Yeah,
and you know the funny thing about that? I got a Tribble today.
Really?
My daughter went to some estate sale. She goes to those sometimes, and someone was selling some Star Trek stuff. And Jonathan just brought it home to me yesterday. A Tribble. It's still in the box thingy. Raquel's going to get a kick out of that.
She will,
also on Mark C's top 25 all-time favorite cover list was this masterpiece. I love this cover. This was and this comic was great. Terry Austin, inking Byrne.
Still one of my favorites for inking, John Byrne. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's mine. I mean, Austin was great on Byrne, Rogers. I mean, he was great. He was one of the best inkers of all of comics. My favorite all-time inker is Sinnott, but man, Austin, I love him. And another one that made his list right here.
Yeah, that's good.
And this was this was Byrne, and I don't think he had Austin on it, but what this was an homage cover to an earlier X-Men comic by Dave Cockrum, because I think this is a little even nod to Dave Cockrum there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get to a couple more. Of course, again, here's some pure Byrne for you.
Yep.
Which he only did covers for that series, but he wrote that. Actually, wrote that. Some more pure Byrne.
A little bit of who's the guy that did the Saturday Evening Post? Somebody knows,
Norman Rockwell. Yeah,
Rockwell. Thank you. Yeah,
he even credited him on it there. And essentially, again,
here's
some pure Byrne thing, like I said, and then some Byrne Sinnott thing. And of course, this was years earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And who wouldn't vote for this gentleman?
Yeah, Rubenstein.
Yep. And there's, of course, this was also one of his favorite covers, so I should show it. Even though I don't like the comic, I like him, so I'll show it. A simple type of cover. This was, of course, the direct sales comics edition of man. They had multiple covers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
did I buy that from you?
I was not open yet.
Okay.
So you must have grabbed it at there was no Southland either. I'm not sure. I don't know where
there was a place. There was a place in Catfish Town that I went to.
You went to. Yeah, it's Comic Book Emporium. There you go.
Comic Book Emporium. Yeah. Mostly because. Well, never mind. I don't even know what happened to her. So.
Yeah. But there you go. I'm gonna show a little bit more. Then we're gonna get to some. You have some good, cool pictures.
Yeah.
To us.
We'll talk some art theory a little bit.
Indeed.
And hopefully the chat won't all abandon us when I start talking about composition and.
We'll see.
Those kind of things.
I'll even show this one because I loved him so much, even though I hate this comic. This is for you, the great Mark, see? Because he loved it. And but I'll tell you, I'll show you some comics of Byrne's. Obviously, I love some of his FF, and I love a lot of his work, by the way. I joke, but I'll tell you some of the comics that I really was surprised by that he did that I really loved. Many years later, in the early aughts, as the kids say, he went to IDW, and for some reason, he really knows his Star Trek, and he really loves his real Trek too. He does not like any of the air sets, like fake crap, new garbage, whatever. He loves real Star Trek, as we do here, and he did some great Trek. I'm not just talking about his art. In fact, his art, some of these covers are pretty good. But he did some really great Trek series. I actually really like this one, Leonard McCoy, Frontier Doctor. This was fun. It's a fun comic. There's just multiple covers. Yeah, it took place right after they got off, but in between the series and the motion picture, some adventures from McCoy and stuff. It's actually a fun comic.
Well, crack my knuckles and jump for joy.
Oh, I just had to watch that episode today for next week, dude. Don't bring back bad memories. He did an Assignment Earth sequel comic, of course, with Gary Seven. And he did a real good one called, as you can see here, Star Trek Crew, which took place right when the first Constitution class ship launched, and it had number one and Pike were members of the crew, Captain Robert April. Good comic.
Yeah. That would be the Yorktown, though, wouldn't it?
Well, it was it didn't really have a name. It was just the first Constitution class ship at that point, but it later became the Enterprise.
I could swear I read somewhere that Captain April, the first name of the ship, first ship was going to be Captain.
You're thinking of Enterprise A. Remember Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home?
Refresh my memory, because
they were given the new ship at the end.
Yeah.
An Enterprise A on it.
Yeah.
Well, they renamed the Yorktown to Enterprise for that ship.
No. I read somewhere a long time ago that the original in the first draft was Captain Robert April. And
Yorktown, but not in the comic though.
And they changed. No. Yeah. Sorry. I guess I switched gears on you there.
Oh yeah, not in the comic. So that's what I thought you were talking about. But
Elizabeth M.
You're right. There were different names. Go ahead.
Elizabeth M. is saying that Stephen/Mark C. / the Man in Black had an appreciation for Norman Rockwell as well. Yeah, I'm really starting to wish that I had a chance to meet him and talk to him when I came to Baton Rouge all those times, because I think we would have had a lot in common and a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. D. Oberg, what's up, buddy? Absolutely. Yeah, I wish, man. I wish that would.
Yeah, Rockwell was great. Yeah,
absolutely. Those were just a few. I didn't put up a lot of them, folks, but just a few different samples of some Byrne stuff. There was also, I'm reading, and we're going to get into. I want to see some of the stuff Steve has for us right now. This is what I was kind of talking about: his later art before he left superheroes and comics to go to Star Trek, because he's not done anything. Although he has his Byrne Robotics blog, and he actually is doing a comics, an X-Men comic on there called Elsewhen, which is the way he would have continued it, and it's never going to be published by any publisher. But he's doing that. You can actually some people are compiling them and stuff, and because it's him. And if Marvel had any brains anymore, they would get him to come do an X-Men comic for them, but they don't care about that kind of stuff anymore. So are you familiar with the comic that he did in the early 2000s called Superman Batman Generations?
Yes, I have the trade paperback.
Well, they just came out with an omnibus that has everything, even that series that they didn't put in the normal trades. And I've been reading that. And I don't know if I've been too many examples of his actual interior art. It's good. Some of the art's good and everything. I don't know. I love some of the stuff like this. This is the back cover of the omnibus right there.
Mm-hmm.
There is the front of one of the regular issues. That's not the omnibus. So, here's the omnibus cover again. Sorry. So, I've been reading this now because back then, as you know, my well-known prejudice and problems with Byrne kept me from reading a lot of his stuff. And my problems with Byrne, which I won't go into here, but it just kept me from buying a lot of his stuff.
Sure.
I've decided we got some. I love a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's some.
He goes back to where they were in the very beginning, where Superman's only able to leap a tall building.
Well, yeah, but
Batman still has the Da Vinci wings.
Right, but this story moves real time, unlike comic books do. In other words,
yes,
they age with their comic. If you, as you know, and which is a good idea. It's an interesting idea. I'm up to, and they do it, but they're doing it like these decade jumps.
Yep.
So I'm up to 1989 now, and not reading it because I'm reading it slow. I'm just still starting it. It's wow, it's some depressing crap in there. It's good. I mean, I'm liking it so far. There's some good things in it, but man, that's some, dude. I don't know, but we'll, again, I'm going to keep reading it, and I'm enjoying it. So anyway, let's see here. Let me. But it was because of the great Mark C that I went ahead and broke down and grabbed that. Well,
there you go. He's enriching your life.
Well, it's not like he tried to talk me into it, but it was something I was gonna. We were gonna review at some point. But yes, and one of the books, even though I didn't like his DC stuff, I did love Byrne's Captain America Batman team up thing.
Oh yeah.
So okay, if you want to do your screen share thing, and I will give you the floor.
Okay. I apologize ahead of time. I didn't hook up my second monitor because I didn't think about it. So this might be a little bit slower. But what I want to talk about a little bit was, let me, before I do that, let me share.
As Lisa says, he made so many lists of his favorites in his sketchbooks. Yes, he's like me. I get picked on for making lists a lot, but yes, he and I love to do our lists now. And yes, like to have a list of the things we love.
Okay, so one of the things that I like about Byrne was the way that, not in the beginning, and I should have numbered these instead of just giving them names now that I think about it, but the way he started to draw later in his career was he would lead your eye. He would basically tell you where to look. And in this case, I drew an overlay over this, and you can see he's making a circular composition. He put. I can't see anybody but me. So I
just said Steve Mitchum looks like he's 25 years old. His camera must be defective. Where do I get that one?
Claude, the check is in the mail, buddy. So can you see this okay?
I don't see anything yet.
Oh, wait, really? Okay, let me hit the share.
Do like the share thingy like you did. I don't see it pop in yet. Now, remember, I think earlier when you tried one, it didn't, and then you did something else. And
I just hit it again, but let's try her again.
It'll pop up in my feed when it's.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's do window. Oh, that's right. It won't let me do the whole screen. It will only let me do the window. How about now?
There you go. There you go. Because it's the way you did it before. Okay. There we go.
Does it still show up?
I got you.
Okay, so I'm trying to see if I got it placed so you can see it. But anyway, so
yeah, can everyone see that? I think they can. So good.
This is a very simple drawing we did for somebody in the '80s at a con or something.
Fan sketch thing, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very quick and dirty, but you can see how he composes these things to lead the viewer's eye around the screen. Okay? This is the simplest version that I could find. All right. Now,
indeed, Lisa, that'd be great, Lisa. Go ahead. Oh, you got another one coming up? Okay.
Oh, I've got a ton. I've got a ton. Cool. Let me find. So so in the I got to share each time. I guess I am.
You don't have to share it each time. Do it whatever you did earlier, I guess. But however you want to do it. No, not now, not yet.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, every time I jump out to look at them, I'm gonna have to share again. So apologies to everybody.
Well, when I do a share thingy, it pops me, like when I say I pull up something to share it, it pops me out of the window of my StreamYards over to where I am, but I just click back on my window. You don't have some multiple windows opened up?
I do. Yeah, I guess I can go about it that way, but I was hoping not to just scroll through stuff. Can you see this?
Yep.
You should see the Avengers. So this is, from a compositional point of view, this is kind of boring. Everything is just straight up and down. And there's nowhere for your eye logically to go. You probably go to your favorite character or maybe whoever's largest. So, but here I've overlaid some color blocks to show you. Yeah, it's just straight up and down. kind of boring composition.
Nice art, though.
Yeah, a very good character art. Now you see what I don't know if the colors show up that well. Maybe I should have made them darker. But Captain America fighting. Who is this character, Mike? I'm not sure.
I'd have to blow it up to see it. It looks like
he's got a big Nazi sign and a skull. I'm not sure who this character is, but anyway.
Someone can locate him. I'm sure it looks like one of those. Unless Byrne just made him up, unless he's some new version of one of those Zemo.
Somebody will probably say in the chat. I guess.
Janet from Another Planet, welcome. It's good to see it. I love that name, Janet from Another Planet.
Janet, yeah, that's nice. But you can see how there's a split diagonal from the top left corner to the bottom right. And that was a thing he started doing later on. And it's kind of clever composition because it does a couple of things. Number one is it separates very easily the good guys from the bad guys.
Yeah, I thought Phantom Outsider would be able to set it straight. It is a made up. That's why I didn't know. He's a made up one-off. Cool.
There you go. Yeah, Phantom Outsider. He knows. Yeah, he knows.
Phantom Outsider's my man. What's up, buddy?
He's like the Watcher.
Fact, yeah. So and since he's the Phantom Stranger, Phantom Outsider. It's such
there
a
you go.
name.
Yeah. Yep, it is. But anyway, so he did a lot of this kind of diagonal composition stuff where he would have. You see, Captain America is larger in the frame, and he's also on top. And the character on top tends to psychologically make us think that he is winning. Okay.
Yes.
Here's this one. He's got. This one's a little cloudy because he's got Puck hiding up in here, but he's basically got this diagonal going again here.
Yeah, it looks like Baron Blood there too.
Yes, over here on the left, and we got that same character in the background that I don't know who he is. I thought maybe he was an Invaders character after I stopped reading the Invaders.
Yeah, unless he's his version of the Master of the World thingy, but he's changed or something.
I don't know. Like I said, I stopped buying comics for the most part after you were. Yeah,
I only mentioned that because it looked like he has an Alpha Flight connection there. So I don't know. I always love this one. I've seen color ones of this one. The real Captain Marvel and the only good backup.
There you go.
Marvel.
Yeah. And you see he's got he's doing the diagonal split screen. Captain Marvel, the original, is higher in the frame and larger, and he's holding up. We don't know how big that is. So he's basically showing that that's the guy that has the power in this shot. Whether or not anybody agrees with it is not the point. The point is, in this shot, that's what he was trying to show. Okay.
Nice.
This is very interesting to me. This is another
little cross company. No, I'm saying little cross company stuff there.
Yep. Green Lantern and Zatanna
and She-Hulk, I guess.
I always get Zatanna and Zatara mixed up.
Zatara's the pappy.
Yeah, just because their names are like one letter off, I can't keep it straight.
I gotcha.
So this is a nice circular composition. If you take anywhere you start looking at one of the characters, it's going to lead you around. Let me see if I've got the next one. Yeah. If you can see the green band I've superimposed over this.
Well, Hal's using his ring apparently to help you with that.
There you go. Yeah, it's not why I picked the green, but I guess I could have, or just because you got the Jade Giantess over here.
Yeah, some more.
So he did a lot of this too. So he did. Now this again is not a good composition. It's a good drawing. He draws the anatomy really, really well. He draws the great facial expressions. As far as composition though, a good way to test if your composition is strong is by making it a silhouette like I did here. And you should still be able to tell what's going on. And I think if we asked somebody that was not a comics fan or hadn't seen this before, what's going on, they'd say, I don't know, it looks like somebody's maybe lighting a cigarette or so. He's got a lighter he's holding up there. So I wanted to show the good, the bad, and the ugly here. So
indeed, that's somebody's piece of original art they got there.
Yeah.
I love this one.
Yep. And again, it's now here he's done something that's kind of interesting. Remember how I said that the character on top usually would seem like he's winning? So what he did here, because he wants to have these guys as equals, is he's got Captain America on top, but Batman is larger in the frame. You see, he's more than half the frame. If we, So that's how he balanced that out. So you would, looking at this subconsciously, you think, well, maybe Cap's got a slight edge, which makes sense because he's got a super soldier formula. But again, it's that if I draw a line from the top left to the bottom right, you can see the split screen. Am I making any sense at all?
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, please keep going, man.
Okay, great. So here's I didn't color this one in. This one is really interesting because Doc Doom, it looks like he's looking down on Reed and down on the Thing. So it looks like maybe he's winning because he's larger in the frame and he's looking down. But up here on the top right, you can see you have both Sue and Johnny. So it's a good way of showing that maybe Doc Doom will have the upper hand at any given moment, but they're a team, so things are going to change.
Nice.
This is another example of great rendering. I love the way he does the metals.
That's beautiful.
In the drawing.
Yeah.
It's very dramatic perspective, foreshortening. But as a composition, again, I don't have it in line. If he'd have moved that Earth out to the side a little bit, so the silhouette. I wish I had numbered these. It would be a stronger composition.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
This again, it's good. It's good characters. It's good attitude. Back to back, arms folded, power stance. Very arrogant looking. But as far as composition, it's just two up and down pillars, as you see there. Okay, so
yeah,
good. But he got better later. Now this is good. This is really. Now if you look at this one, you've got all these things to look at. So where does your eye go, right? I think. Well, look what he's done here. He could have. Who's the character that scratches Mike? Help me out on this.
Elastigirl?
No, is this that's not Elastigirl? Is that?
That's what her name was back then. They took that name later.
Really? Okay. All right. Well, but what he did here is both the split. Let me back up one. He did a split composition and his little method of leading your eye around the camera. He could have had this Elastigirl, although this is clearly a guy, come in from the right side or anywhere. But what he started was way over here under Cliff, right? And comes all around or not Cliff, that's Metamorpho. Goes under Cliff here, Robot Man. Circles around MODOK, and then comes around again. So your eye is being led in a continuous circle. You see how if you can continue the arc of this character, it draws you right past her face. I don't remember this guy. It's been so long, but and then he's also got this beam.
MODOK.
No, I meant in the wheelchair with the beard, Doctor.
That would be the chief.
Yeah,
he's the chief. I just saw MODOK and I thought you.
Oh yeah. Well, the
drop out for a second. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, MODOK. I'm using ancient technology here. But you see, MODOK's got this power beam that he's blasting through Robot Man here. So he's using that that triangular composition trick that he does. Where is it? Yeah, like this one.
Yeah.
And then he's combining that with this thing of leading your eye around the page. So he was getting very experimental, I think, at a certain point. Clearly, this looks to me like a logical or like a later piece of work. The other good thing about this, as compared to if I go back, you see how there's no wasted space here. You could say maybe a little bit in the right-hand corner, but for the most part, everywhere you look, there's a character, or there is maybe some debris or a leg or something behind that character. Whereas if I go back here on the left and right side, now he wasn't making a whole composition out of this.
Yeah.
But there are other ones. Even this one, we could say in the background, there's nothing there. But as he goes on, he's able to use this circular composition or the diagonal to use his space better and to fill up his space. There's the globe. This is the one I was looking for a second ago to show that if we take this one, you fill it in with black, you get this one. So it's not the strongest composition. It's still a great drawing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing his forms or his rendering, his characters, his anatomy, any of that kind of stuff.
No. We have an interesting question for you. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me
go ahead.
This and see. What's the question?
Oh, well, Janet from Another Planet says, if the drawing had colors, because you showed some black and white ones, in it, wouldn't that draw you into different places in the drawing?
Absolutely right. And I think I've got some examples of that as well. But you really can't, when you're talking about composition, we really can't give BYRNE credit or blame for that, because the colors were picked out for almost all these characters ahead of time. And by the way, that brings me to a good point, Janet from Another Planet.
And he didn't color all. Well, he didn't color them in his comics.
He didn't color them, although in some cases he may have chosen. She brings up a really good point, but it's really complicated because he may have chosen to pose certain characters to do because of their the colors of their of their outfits, and pose them certain ways. There's one I have of Batman and Spider-Man. And he has an almost Black City background, but he has Batman's cape going behind Spider-Man to make sure Spider-Man, who's got so much black in the inking, doesn't just disappear into the background. And there's one point that one thing that Clobberin and I were talking about a few weeks ago was I saw last night yet somebody else was repeating Stan Lee's story about how he came up with the colors for the Hulk. Originally they did gray. And the printer said sometimes it comes out black. So I said, well, what about green? I think that's a lie. I think that Jack Kirby came up with the colors. And if you look at color theory for cartoons especially, but in other areas as well, in Western culture, green and purple are villains' colors. And you think of Ursula, you can think of it was purple and black actually. You could think of Maleficent. I have these Disney characters in my head, but I can't put names to them. But even in like, help me out, Clobby. The Destroyer, purple and green, right?
The Destroyer, which one?
The Marvel sci-fi Fantastic Four villain.
Are you thinking of? The Destroyer you're thinking of? Or are you thinking of Annihilus?
Annihilus, sorry.
He's
sorry,
green.
yeah.
And yeah, purple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can still see my screen. That's cool. I could have had this window open the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Green Goblin. Yeah. Phantom Outsider says Green Goblin. Yeah. That's a very good. Oh, a lot of Spider-Man's villains. You got the Lizard who is green.
Scorpion, Vulture. Green. Yeah. Yep. Sandman wears green.
Yep.
Almost the whole Sinister Six.
Yep. Phantom Outsider's on it, man. Lex Luthor. Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, Claude, help us out.
Purple.
Here. Yeah. Most casual readers don't know this stuff, but that doesn't matter. BYRNE does his job well and makes great compositions. I agree. Right. I agree. Oh my God, I agree with Claude. Somebody write this down. No, Claude, Claude's a student of this stuff as well. So I mean, he knows what's going on. He knows the score.
Yep.
Marvel colorists would really enjoy Mardi Gras. Yes, they would. Purple, green, and yep.
There you go. The Parasite.
Yeah, you guys are. Somebody else is going through. So that's and the Hulk originally was kind of a bad guy. He was kind of because he was going to kill Rick Jones, and it was the first or second issue before the sun came up. And then the sun came up and turned back into Banner again.
Yeah, it was back when he was a werewolf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's where the whole green Joker, purple and green.
Phantom Beetle. Outsider, there's another one, Beetle. Yeah.
Phantom Outsider is just nailing it. Man, we need to have him. It's a good thing he's almost always here.
He's invited.
He's like our he's our memory bank, our search. He's our Google. So anyway, same composition here where he does, and you see how he mirrors it. I mean, he really emphasizes it with Spider-Man's arm here. It's not just one character on top and one character on bottom, but he's using both arms to really strengthen that a lot. And again, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you mentioned, we obviously Doom. There's another green one just made me think of. The Vision started out as a villain. He's green and red there. So we got to continue. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. So and some characters turned from evil to good, but most of them didn't change their costumes though. So I wonder if that's why they came up with that idea for the white one. I don't know. Again, this one is just now. This is not like the best of his compositions, but you do see good guys on one side and bad guys on the other side. And he uses his cape here. I didn't color it, but he's got the cape moving in sort of a diagonal. and then it gets picked up by this row of whatever it is here. So it's sort of create and the magic here. So he's creating a frame.
Yep.
Machine Gun Man is purple. Maybe his blood is
Whirlwind
green.
Loki wore purple. Green, sorry. Whirlwind Human Top as Phantom Outsiders throwing some out there. Yeah. Machine Man is purple, but yeah.
Yep. This is another one where he's leading the eye around. If you start on let's start on Reed's hand on screen right, his left hand, and it leads you right to the flame trail of the Human Torch, whose head arcs up the thigh's leg. Don't say it. And then we follow that. Our eye follows that around kind of involuntarily to the Thing's arm, which whether you follow the original trajectory of his upper arm, which leads to Reed's face, or you follow the arc of it to his fist, which lead to Reed's hands, and then up his arm to his face again. So he creates these circular compositions where he's telling you, look here. Don't turn the page yet. Look at what I want you to look at. And let me see if I can find, here's, obviously, again, split screen here. The colors, bad guys on the right, good guys on the left. Now, in this one, the bad guys are bigger, the good guys are smaller. And again, it gives you a feeling of, oh crap, they're really in trouble here. I think so you can use it to show, oh, Cap is winning, maybe at the end of the book where he's beating up. Iron Fist is also yellow and green. Phantom Outsider is correct. However, that one is Janet from Another Planet. Wonder Man had lots of colors. Yep, that's true. And he's changed costumes.
Is green.
Yeah, Claude says, "Don't touch the thing's thing." Yes, don't. Yeah, thing ring. Don't do your thing.
Well, Sauron right there, Saurion or whatever he was, that dinosaur thingy, the pterodactyl thingy was green.
Yep, that's true. And Claude says Neil Adams did it with his panels. I don't know if Claude was here for the very beginning, but the first thing I said was that early John Byrne looks like. And he admitted it. He sort of ripped off in the beginning. He got his style from copying Neil Adams. And you can see it. If you go back to like issue number 1, 2, 3, 4 of Iron Fist, you totally see it, Claude. He just woke up.
This right here.
Now. Claude's woke.
This right here looks kind of Adams. Of course, Adams did X-Men way before Byrne did. It's almost an Adams look to Cyclops right there, especially.
Yes, absolutely. And so somebody mentioned, I think it was Phantom Outsider. Iron Fist wore green and yellow. That is true, Phantom Outsider. However, that's a Chinese cultural element there. Jade is the symbol of the Zhongguoren, the Chinese people.
And remember,
I wish Ash was here so we could speak Chinese.
Yeah, remember Wonder Man started as a villain. So.
He did, yeah. He was sent by the Masters of Evil to kill the Avengers, and he started off, with green. So, So, forget you, Stanley. I think one of the artists said, no, let's make him green and purple. Roger McKenzie told me that Byrne was a synthesis of Kirby, Ditko, and Kane. Gil's on Bob.
Gil's no Bob. Exactly.
Claude, I said this to Clobby at the top of the show, is that I think he also had some Speed Racer influence. Because if you look at his, go back and look at his very first, like Iron Fists. If you look at his grimaces, they were like a wedge from one side to the other. I'm sorry, did I?
No, I was quoting Speed Racer.
Sorry. Yeah. All right. So let me tell me if this gets bigger when I. Is this filling the screen better?
A little bit. There you go. Yeah, we have Power Man, Iron Fist, Misty Knight.
Yep.
And something else.
So I think that's
Sons of the Tiger or whatever, or Daughters of the Dragon, whatever the hell is going on, something like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the main point is again he's doing this split screen thing, but this time he's doing it sort of in 3 times. He's really emphasizing it you can follow the leg of Iron Fist here. You can follow the shoulder of Luke Cage, who also has yellow, which was an interesting choice. Yellow being usually the color of cowardice or some other things. And then the other side of his body. So here he's really emphasizing this diagonal. He really wants you to see it. And there it is, just with some color overlays. So you can see later on in his career, he did this huge. This again, I didn't do a color overlay on this, but you can see it's Wolverine and Hulk. And he's sort of playing with different things here to get if I asked you who was winning, you probably get 10 answers from 10 people. But we have Wolverine taking the top position, so he's the top right, diagonal of this. So that's one way of showing that somebody's winning. He's also closer to the camera, closer to the viewer. That's another thing. However, the Hulk is much, much bigger. So there's sort of balance in that he's using this, for the viewer to say, who's going to win. I don't know. He doesn't want you to know yet. No, I'm sorry. I did put an overlay on that. I did so many of these things. I don't remember.
Claude. God.
What did he say?
Cage wore a tiara, so he wasn't afraid of anything.
Hey, I loved the original Luke.
I do too.
And I love Mike Coulter too, by the way. I think he's really
he
good.
was great. He's the best thing about Mike Coulter or whatever is the best thing about that show.
Yeah.
Abomination, Green Baddie.
Yep. Again, you got that, and the Hulk. Yeah, and you got that diagonal again. And this one, they're the same size in the frame. So, you might think, it looks like the Hulk's about to get it handed to him, but, who's to say?
Indeed, D-Bud. He also had a chain belt because he was a badass. I love
Yes.
Cage.
True, yeah. So again, like I said, I'm not really talking about
nice. I love this
I'm not talking again about the way he draws the characters and stuff, because most artists could draw characters and they all have their own style. Some are better at anatomy. Gil Kane was probably the first guy who totally mastered the anatomy. Really knew the shape of all the muscles and how one muscle inserted to the bone and these kind of things. Mm-hmm. But this again is the same thing. You've got the Hulk taking up most of the screen, but you've got Batman on top. So is.
I just want to say something to Lisa real quick because she has to run. She said, Lisa P says, I love all you guys for being here. I will be listening to the rest later. I have an early morning. This is fitting tribute to Stephen Mark C. I can hear him debating you guys in my head. Absolutely. Lisa P.
I think he'd be on my side. I think he and I would be in agreement.
No, I think he'd be saying everything and agreeing with Steve on all this stuff, which I agree with as well. So, Lisa, thank you so much for being here, my dear. Appreciate you so much, and that means the world to me that you said that. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful night.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah,
he is here. She says he is here in the spirit. Enjoyed every. Yeah, because he would love this. I wouldn't. Hey, if he were here and Steve were here, I wouldn't be getting the word in. Those guys would be, burn all the way there and stuff. And I would be happy about that. So thank you so much. Love you for that, Lisa. Thank you. You take care.
Thanks for dropping in, Lisa. Yeah, so I'm definitely taking. I'm Mark's stand-in tonight, or Steven. I mean.
Oh, we wouldn't be arguing. We only argued about his reboot, this Superman thing. So yeah, I love the art. So yeah, I love it. I love this right here.
Claude says Steve was professionally educated. I went to Southeastern.
Steve went to Southeastern, didn't he? I think he did actually. Oh, means you. He meant Steven went to Southeastern, but
yeah. Because I went to LSU. Yeah, I didn't go to Slow Learners University. I went to learn slower than us.
You're a tiger.
Yes, I'm a tiger. Yeah, and I found a tiger group out here in Vegas, so I can.
There you go.
Cool.
But I love this one here.
Yep.
Yeah. Steven did go to Southeastern also. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you remember what I was talking about? Not wasting any space like some of those straight up and down verticals did. Yeah, Claude, that's what I thought you meant. You went to Southeastern.
That's why I was taking a shot at you, dummy.
No, not taking a shot. Just being myself,
No, just at Claude, not Southeastern.
I wouldn't take a shot at Claude. I would take a shot for Claude. If it was water, if it was watered down a lot. But yeah, this is again is that compositional style that he did, where he did a diagonal. There's not really a good guy and bad guy here. I don't think. I think this is further along than that, but. Yeah. But, Batman doesn't look like he's losing, even though he's much smaller than the Hulk. The fact that he's on top gives you that sorry, I was reading Claude's comment. Gives you that feeling that, Batman is holding his own here.
Well, this is an homage to the wonderful Batman Hulk team up of the late 70s by the great Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. And
I have never read that. I can't believe
really?
that totally
It's a
skipped
great
my
story.
radar.
It's a fun story. You look at that matchup and you go, oh, come on, that ain't much of a fight. But it's actually a really good story. Lynn Wein, the great Lynn Wein. And of course, I love Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. He did a fabulous job on the art. So, yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. So same thing over and over again. These split diagonals.
Nice.
But you see how he definitely uses, fills the space well, and those other things that I talked about. Here it looks like She-Hulk's probably going to get pounded because he's bigger, he's filling more of the screen, he's on top.
That's a really big Hulk there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this one. I love me some Thing Hulk fights.
Yeah, the downward angle is a great way to have both fighters still on their feet and use the space well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
D. Ober, you are not wrong, sir.
Sir, are not wrong. You are correct, sir.
So while we're on that subject of the color, the reason for this is, any of you Claude who have studied art, is
SS Doug, by the way, he's an artist too. Go ahead.
Who? Doug?
Yeah, D. Ober is an artist.
Oh, his first name's Doug. I didn't know. Okay, well there you go. Yeah. Well, yeah, and so he makes a good point here, is that primary colors were the hero's colors because they're generally pleasing to the eye because of the length of the wavelength of these colors. Green and purple are kind of irritating to the eye a little bit. If you don't believe me, paint the interior of your house green or purple, and in a week you'll be a mass murdering maniac. In some cultures, Phantom Outsider is right. Green and purple were considered royal colors. Purple, more so because it was very expensive. They could only get it from the dye at that time could only be extracted from the head of a fish, one drop at a time. And I think it was a fish that was only found in the Nile Delta or something. And so you had to be really rich to be able to afford that one drop of brain fluid. The primary colors, blue, red, yellow, they go together so well, like in Superman, because the wavelengths all jibe together well and they're pleasing to the eye. If you put purple and green together, those two wavelengths are not. It's like playing in two different keys at the same time, and it's irritating. And that's why they would do that with villains. It makes you. D. Bud Martin's got a shade of green in his. In his bedroom, that explains everything.
I always knew purple was special because our beautiful Purple Valkyrie. She's
Yeah, but she's wearing a villain color. But
well, she is a villain. She loves Dr. Doom, so she's a proud supervillain. We do villain shows, she and I. So that purple. Yep. Gotta watch her now.
Well, she stole. I think she stole your heart. So yeah, I'd probably make.
Well, she is a heart stealing villain.
She's
I love
sweetheart.
You, Purple.
She's a sweetheart out there. Yeah, she's awesome.
We love you, Purple.
So this is the same thing again, but with a twist. So you've got these Eric.
Eric,
do not tell Purple Valkyrie. Purple makes you a mass murderer.
we won't tell Purple. If she heard this, we love you, Purple.
Like I said, Eric, she's stealing hearts. So
indeed, she's amazing,
and she Catwoman. She get away with it. So this anyway, same thing. The same kind of composition here. We have this. Going from top right to bottom left. And he's emphasizing it with these metal beams here that I've colored purple. A little bit with the Absorbing Man's hand, then the Hulk, and then right behind him in a questionably drawn pose, we have the Blob. The Blob. But then he did this other thing where he has this sort of going against this diagonal.
The Blob's losing weight. Sorry, go ahead.
He is, yeah. Well, he's doing acting. He's doing keto. But in addition to that, now he's got the Abomination and the Rhino coming at 90-degree angles to his main thrust here. So it gives you the sense that the Hulk is really under a pinch. So he added a new dimension there. Purple has stolen D. Bud's heart too. I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you. Eric K says purple was made from snails. I heard it was made from fish, but I'm not an expert on this. So the Murex, the sea snail. Okay, well that's 2-1. So
excellent.
I am older than Like I always make the joke about Clobby. I'm so old. My birthstone is lava dust. Hey, Clobby, remember that time we fought in the Peloponnesian War? Anyway, same thing.
You won 2-5.
Same thing here. Nothing new. And this is the circular composition. Did I do a color overlay? I did. Yeah. Iron Fist's arm leading to the Grim Reaper's scythe, or however you pronounce that. It leads you to his head, to Batroc. And then back around to Iron Fist's arm again. So
Batroc's no match for Iron Fist, but yeah, he's having trouble with Taskmaster. Grim Reaper's pretty tough. So
yeah. So I'll go back to that. Well, I went past this one because there's, it's the same thing that we've always done. Although he made Superman bigger in the frame, this one's probably just because he's flying at us and no more.
Guess what? That's what we got. Thank you, D. Oberg, the man coming through. Now I'm looking up the Nazi guy from earlier. I should have said Yahtzee.
Yes. Should have said Yahtzee.
Golgotha from Danger Unlimited, which was a Byrne comic that I never read. No, I don't think you did either. So.
Nope, I didn't. That's wow.
I know of it, but I've never seen it. Rod Thunderheart, welcome, my friend.
Rod was the 30th like. You can always count on Rod.
Thank you, Rod. Appreciate you, brother.
Hang on. I'm gonna do a stop sharing my screen. Rod, this is for you. Rod does qigong, so he knows what I'm doing. So okay.
I thought he was pulling a Kanunian Sing on you there for a minute. Get right out of it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did something that looked like Tai Chi or something. Yeah, or follow.
And then when he does that thing with his before he pulls open the door. Yeah.
When Mike, you'll remember this. I was once a bodyguard for Prince, because his bodyguards got arrested at the Grammys, and they hired local martial arts groups to be bodyguards. And there was one guy warming up, and he was doing that Kanunian Sing thing. And I'm like, dude,
you've been watching Space Seed.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, if you're gonna watch something, Space Seed is a great thing to.
You are in a position to demand
nothing. Yeah. This is interesting. So he's doing the same thing here. It's not showing the screen, so I did something wrong. Let me try it again.
Prince was purple.
Prince was wow. You guys are on top of it.
But he wasn't the villain, or was he?
Claude says, I remember that you put Prince in your shirt pocket to get him out of that venue. Prince is a tiny guy, and actually a friend of mine, Ronnie, he wore very thick glasses because he was very nearsighted, and he thought being a bodyguard for Prince, this would be a chance to get chicks, right? So he didn't wear his glasses, and everybody told me later, because I was actually guarding Sheila E., that backstage he knocked Prince over because he couldn't see where he was going. But he said, but surprisingly, he said, no, he was very cool. He was like, no, dude, it happens. I get it. Yeah, I didn't fire him or anything. So, yeah, so.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah. Let me go back. So let me try and share my window again. Let's see. Share. And you're not seeing it, are you?
Man-Bat and Craven.
Oh, there you are. Yep. So that's kind of cool. And again, same thing. And so if you look, I color these things in so they're easier to see, but not only did he do this, he wants you to see it, because he could have had this net going around the back or, hanging down to the right side or something. But he did it specifically to make a border between, I don't know if there's a good guy and a bad guy here, but between,
Man-Bat's kind of sort of a good guy in a sense. I mean, he looks kind of a different. Now, again, this is not an art critique. Is the ears are kind of weird and the face for Man-Bat's kind of strange, but still I love Man-Bat, Kurt Langstrom.
Yep. So that's again just the same, showing the same his kind of as he got later on. He just did the same. Here's the same thing here. I didn't color this one, but draw diagonal between. Hey, Mark.
Hey, buddy.
On, buddy.
Good to see you, bro. Oh, there we go. We got is that supposed to be Sasquatch? Or
that,
what?
No,
or
that's
Wendigo?
Or is that
Sabretooth?
Sabretooth, thank you, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look a whole hell of a lot like him. It's like Salby Symmetry of the face, but we got some cool Danny Rand going on there.
Yeah, and again, he's using that split screen composition to show. But you see, they're both taking up the same amount of screen space, so you don't really feel necessarily like one's a winner or one's a loser at this point.
Right.
Canadian Spider-Man
Does whatever a Canadian spider can. Good to see you, buddy.
Yes, he does, and he's also a Steve. But Raquel isn't here to sing that. I love it when she sings that song.
I love that. I love Raquel. We love you, Raquel. If you're lurking out there, I love you.
Yeah.
I was always mad at him. But now again, in fact, this is one of the things, just not to cite it too much, but that Mark and I used to talk about or go back and forth on. I was really kind of aggravated with the series anyway, FF at this point when he changed their costumes. But when Marvel put She-Hulk in there and took Ben out and put in, and they canceled Marvel 2 and gave Ben his own series. I hated She-Hulk at the time. She was in Avengers. Byrne did that. Byrne was in love with She-Hulk more than anybody. And he put her in FF, and I hated it because I didn't like her. And I blamed Byrne because I was a lot younger. I didn't know all the ins and outs of that kind of stuff. Well, Mark, of course, says that was, and it's true, because if you look back at Mark, and I know this now, I knew it for years, but it was actually Marvel's editorial decision. It was Shooter and all these people that they took the Ben out of the FF for a while to have its own series, which was not a very good series, to be quite honest with you. And I dropped both. Well, I dropped FF a little bit before that. So, but I used to blame Byrne for it just because I was mad at Byrne anyway. But yeah,
right. No, yeah.
But anyway,
yeah.
Oh, you dropped it, man. You could have put it back up there.
Mark D with a C was here, so I thought I would say, "Hey, Mark D with a C."
Okay, go. Okay,
because he's one of my favorite people, along with Canadian Spider-Man. I've seen their faces and they haven't seen mine, so I'm sorry to inflict this upon you guys.
I haven't seen Canadians. Oh, I have seen Canadian Spider-Man's face. I think I have, because
I have.
He's been over there with Cardinal, our buddy Cardinal Sin. He's been on there with them.
Yep, he sure has.
Cool.
So I've seen both of those guys. So Claude is saying word to your Shetland pony, and I have no idea. But Janet from Another Planet thinks that Eric is smart and cute.
I think Eric is Eric. I think you're smart too, buddy. I'm not. I don't know about the cute part, man, but I'm going to leave that to Janet, if you don't mind.
Mark C's sister is here. Hail Mark C's sister.
Mark C's, is this? Let's see. If Elizabeth was here earlier, is this Elisa?
It just says Mark C's sister.
Mark C's sister. Fantastic to see you here. Love you. Great to see you.
You said, I appreciated the purple discussion. I've told my kids I'm so old, purple wasn't a color when I was a kid.
And that's her.
When Maddie gets older, I'm going to show her black and white pictures of when I was a kid and say, well, they hadn't invented color yet. The world was in black and white. This is what we look like.
Sister the elder. Oh, you're not old. We are. Especially Steve. Sorry.
Especially, I think I am the old. No. Flawed is the oldest. Flawed is older than me by like. All right, let me share. Let's go back to this.
I think our buddy D-Buzz might be older than me. I like it when people are older than me, D-Buzz. So I hope you're on here. I read that Byrne is colorblind, and he thought Iron Fist costume was brown. He drew several issues before he found out it was green. Not sure how. Wow. I've never heard that.
That's a good point, because let's go back to the what I was sharing, because sharing is caring.
I put it up. Oh, you took it down.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see it. So let me go window. Let's click that one. Let's hit the share button. And do we see? We don't. Or do you have to?
No, I got you now. I got you. Just went.
There we go. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. So that was a good point. Who was to make the colorblind point? Is that?
I don't. It was Dioberg, I believe.
Okay. Well, that's a good point, because
colorblind.
Yeah, I think it would inform his inking or his color choices, because. Like if you look at the FF, look how much black is used in here. This is, well, actually, no, this is the black color, but a lot of times, or the black costume, I should say, a lot of times you will use a lot of black to break up large areas of color. So I think it may have changed that. So D. Bud Martin says he's 59, but I think Pat S is older. We're not going to go there.
Oh, Pat S, are you old? Are you old, buddy? That's okay. I hope it's about time there were older people around here than me. So there you go.
But anyway, so going back to this, you can see how this. Remember in the early compositions where they're all just kind of standing up, it was just vertical columns with a lot of empty space that you fill with buildings or whatever. You have to fill it with something, a great big eye in the sky or something. Whereas here, since he started using these more spiral type approaches, it not only this gives you this circle here, leads your eye around the page, number one. It gives you a feeling of unity. It makes you feeling like these people are a team, number two. And it uses the space really well. So, yeah.
Nice. Elizabeth M says, Elisa, I always say Elisa for some reason, Elisa. So, and we've hung out before. I always get names messed up. I'm sorry. I'm going to say Elisa, and then you can correct me and slap me upside the head next time you see me. Is indeed the elder sister. Oh, she's calling you old. Oh, sister calling sister old. With Stephen in the middle, I enjoy my position as the baby of the family. You enjoy that youngness, dear.
As do I. Although for a guy, it's a little different because you mostly get beat up and told you were adopted, and your parents are going to send you to the swamp. So here again. So Clobby, we were talking about. You remember one of the first images you put up was Dr. Doom in the center with the Fantastic Four, and they were surrounded by these sort of pieces of machinery or whatever, debris to separate them, right?
Yep.
So here we have another purple and green because his pants were purple too, and green character. But in this case, he made an X-shaped. So it's kind of the same composition as that one with Dr. Doom. But here, instead of using, just throwing in random debris or whatever, he made a big sort of X. And he's using it here to show the difference, the passage of time. Because here are things that have happened in the past with Spider-Man, with the Human Torch. I never knew that there's Kurt Connors in the bottom right-hand corner as he's turning either into the lizard. And then the bottom left-hand was that Mobius and Spider-Man with the forearms thing. But here he's using that X-shaped composition to show the passage of time. And then obviously what is in the center, whether we notice it or not, subconsciously we get it, that the thing that's separating all these things that's in the center is the now, the here and now. So you see, this is a great piece of artwork, but compositionally, like I said, it's just vertical lines, with the exception of Diablo.
El Diablo, yeah, that was
Diablo.
This is when BYRNE's first issue where he went back as writer and artist, and inker. Triple threat.
Yep. Here, Phantom Outsider says, "How old is Clobberin Times?" In a made-up rumor, he used to give Kris Kringle presents when Chris was a boy. A lot of people don't know that actually Clobby started out as an architect. He designed the Ark, the pyramids.
And see, that's blown up out of proportion. I just opened a comic shop on the Ark.
Eric K. will get started.
Elizabeth M. says, in all seriousness, speaking of the wonderful Elisa, I don't know what we would do without her. She's fab. She is. Your big sister is wonderful, Elizabeth, and so are you.
Yes, so, I haven't met y'all yet, but I am from Louisiana, and I do go back from time to time. So maybe at some point I will have the pleasure if we're all hanging out with with Lobby. I turned into the Creeper Hobby.
This is a busy one right here, but it's cool.
It is busy, yeah, but it's that same thing again where it's very busy. But he used darks in the background to pop the characters forward, and he's using that diagonal again. In this case, Superman is probably at the top just because he's physically the strongest. Batman is taking the center, the next highest, but he's got Captain America in front of Batman, so that kind of negates Batman being higher up and sort of puts them back on equal footing again. So these are the things that we feel, but we don't necessarily think about, but the artist knows how to place them to make you feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't have a color one, but same thing. Mary Marvel, Spidey. This one's too hard to read without color, so I'll just skip. This one again, good, not great. It's that's Guardian.
That's OMAC.
Oh, that's OMAC, right? Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the
Kirby's OMAC, and that might be another one of those Next Men or Doomsday 1 characters. Danger Unlimited characters, huh?
Phantom Outsider. I'll club at the comics concession on the arc. Phantom Outsider. Who is this character on the right in the armor? If you know, I'm sure you know.
Oberg has read Danger Unlimited, so he would know. We know Mark C would know. Oh yeah, ClobbyCon. Yep. They're starting the ClobbyCon. They might even invite me.
Hey, yeah, let's do it. We get some crawfish. I haven't had crawfish in for years. So this is showing you how the composition is nothing special. It's not a great use of there is. I don't know if you can see my mouse up here, but there's useless space on the edge. Yeah. So good drawing of the characters, and they probably drew this at a con or something. But and this one, another one. It's got dramatic perspective. He's always been really good at facial expressions. I think he even puts him into Doom, even though the metal really couldn't do that. Compositionally, it's okay. The cape sort of leads you around to the bottom, which makes your eye follow it up to read. It's okay.
Yeah.
Same thing here. He's got Slade. I almost said Wade.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Slade on top right. So he's got him in the higher position, but he's got Cap closer to us and taking up more of the screen. So that gives you a feeling of, these guys are on equal footing. It could go either way. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe I should speed up and get done as well.
That's cool. That's all right, man. No, you're good. I think people enjoy it. But Phantom. I mean, the OMAC one is easy. The Kirby's OMAC, 101-man Army Corps. But the other guy, I don't know if I got a good enough look at him either. But you got me. It's not a mainstream character.
It was a small image.
Unless that's Doom. Christoph. It's supposed to be Christoph as one of the Doom bots or something like that. No, that was the Next Man villain. Oh, there we go. I knew Oberg would do it. There you go. So I never read Next Men and never read Danger Unlimited. I know of them, but I never got into them. I was kind of done with BYRNE at that point. Okay. But man, look, we don't need Google. We don't need Wiki, any of that crap. We don't need comic book database. The comic book database is here every night. We got Phantom Outsider. Now we got D-Boat, old good buddy D. Oberg popping in. I haven't seen you in a while, brother, and it's always good to see you again. And so, we got it covered.
Yeah, absolutely. This one, just again, really quickly. This was kind of clever because he drew Reed's arm going all the way around this building. And the idea, again, is to keep your eye moving. I mean, he could have had him just holding onto the building right next to where he is. But he wrapped it around like that to get your eye moving around that thing.
And this is a redraw of an old Kirby Kirby page.
Did Kirby draw this arm like this?
I'd have to find it to see, but I remember this is definitely based on a Kirby drawing.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, he did pay homages, I think.
He did, often.
Yep.
Let's see. I think Elisa would agree that this conversation is every holiday gathering we ever had with Steven.
Nice. I like it.
I love it. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. We appreciate that.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. He would love this, and he'd be all into it. And that's what we're here for, celebrating something he loved because he was so well loved by not only his wonderful family, but all of his friends and many of these people in this YouTube community that loved chatting back and forth with the great Mark C. And he loved this art. He loved this subject. And that's what we're here for tonight, celebrating what he loves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice one here.
Yeah. So just to say, I did way too many examples, but
no, man, the kid's great, man.
So I'm
enjoying it.
Once again, his same trick, and it's a good trick. You cut it in diagonal. He put Spidey on top, probably because Spidey is the the more physically powerful. Not all power, just strength-wise. I'm talking now. But they really occupy pretty much the same amount of space to show that these guys are, friends, or they're kind of on the same footing. It could go either way, although, Flash never stopped moving.
Plus, Flash is really slowing down there. No way Spidey could keep up with him.
Yeah.
He used to be swinging pretty fast. I get a busy one with a Tuma. Ooh.
This Atuma's in here?
No, I'm
Or
sorry.
was it?
That's it looks like Terax. Or was it a Tuma? I can't tell now.
No, that's Terax.
That's Terax.
Yeah, that's
I thought I saw a Tuma on one that I forgot. Yep, the both.
Yeah.
It's weird because it must be when he was when he was. It looks like him as Tyros before he became Terax.
Weird. Could be. It's been a long time.
Go ahead. I mean, these are not like based on stories. It's him just doing crazy stuff with it, but he did create Terax.
Yeah. Well, and what he's doing here, you notice that he's got Reed's arm bisecting this image. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but it's a stretched out arm. And on the right-hand side of that, at the top, are the two bad guys. On the left-hand side, you got the thing, the torch down here, which is really hard to see because it's really light, and the Silver Surfer. So he's got an X here. He's got Reed's arm separating the good guys from the bad guys, but at a 90-degree angle to that, he's got the bad guys. So he's kind of telling two stories all at once here.
Claude.
What did Claude
has something to say about it. He says, talking with Mark C was an event. It was never done in a few minutes. Usually it began to get darker. My feet began to hurt. An interesting guy for sure. What he means, of course, is at the comic shop all the time. You know, they used to bump into each other all the time, and they go outside like they're about to leave, and they're sit out there and talk forever about comics and stuff because he loved, like all geeks, love to talk about the stuff they love when it comes to comics and science fiction, things like that. And so that's the way I went with him. We love talking to him.
Yeah. I wish I had a chance to get to know him.
Absolutely.
Canadian Spider-Man said to Alex James that food would be a definite win. I think he's talking about going to Clobberin.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys, you haven't had, and Louisiana, Southern food is not Louisiana food. Louisiana is its own thing. It's got, because it had the French influence, it had the Spanish influence. So it's not just the grits and biscuits and the ham everywhere else. You can't go to Georgia and think you've had like Louisiana food. So just saying that.
Indeed, Clobberin.
Janet from Another Planet is saying yum. So, and Elizabeth M. Go ahead and read it.
I've got a comic artist badge to teach the 13 and 14-year-old Girl Scouts at some point on the next year or so. There you go. This will be good resource material. I can show them in Steven's absence.
Yes.
Well, absolutely.
Indoctrinate them early.
Indeed. Because the big two don't have any real comic book artists anymore. We need new ones.
Yep.
There you go.
And Alex James says he agrees on the food. Alex, are you a Louisianian or a Southerner?
Could be.
Oh. So this again is kind of both of John Byrne's things where he splits the screen diagonally, but he also went back too far, and I'm leaning on my hand so you probably can't hear me anymore. This is kind of cool because he's got the Hulk at the very top. And he's got, you can see the cape of Doctor Strange in the arm, and it leads up, and it leads your eye right over here to Magneto. And then he had this curved piece of metal. Zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, subby.
Now he could have just had. I was calling him Dr. Doom. Wow, take away my nerd card.
No,
he almost could have had Magneto just. Yeah, he could have had Magneto just wrap this thing around his neck. The reason that he stretched it out here, into Subby's hands, is to give us something for our eye to pick up and carry us around the frame again. So he's directing your eye where to go. So he's kind of a few trick pony here. Same thing here. We have. I could have done this better because I got the Human Torch up here. I didn't really see that, but for the most part, you have the good guys on the right and the Hulk, who in this instance seems to be the bad guy. He's having a rage on the left. But he also did Sue's force field bubble here to bisect the screen. So I don't have anything else interesting. Oh, so this is kind of interesting. So here is shown, how do you show that something is heavy to Superman? Well, you make it big. You have it fill almost half of the screen. You put it on top. And then you curve his body backward. And this is a thing that we do in animation where we use C's or S's or reverse C's or reverse S's curves to make the bodies more dynamic than just standing straight up and down. And that's what he did here.
Yes. Excellent. D. Bud Martin says the first time I had Cajun food was at a bar restaurant in downtown Denver owned by a former Louisianian. The decor was New Orleans Saints. There you go. So he probably brought some good New Orleans stuff up there. Cool. Did not know that they have someone up there doing that. Nice.
That's good. That's cool.
Very Ditko looking Spidey there out of BYRNE.
Yep. And just the same thing again. Spidey's in this instance, Spidey is winning. You see it by the fact that Superman is falling, that his face is in pain, that he's on the bottom half of the screen, and Spidey is taking up more of the screen. So,
Janet's lived in New Orleans. Oh, there you go. Well, excellent, Janet, fellow Louisianian, or at least lived here for a while. So there you go. Excellent.
Oh man, I'd kill for some. Mark C was a great cook, apparently.
You know what? I hear that. I've heard that. Wow, excellent.
That's cool. Same thing here again. It's you don't care for this book. That's good, but his use of space was just okay. It's not like some of those other more dynamic compositions he did. But it's okay. Fortunately, his characters have a lot of appeal in the way that he draws them. So, so.
Excellent.
All right. So we're probably taking up.
Thing Hulk. No, you're good, dude.
Are we? Okay. I don't want to take up too much. I mean, guys in the chat, if you want me to shut up, I will. But
no, man.
Everyone's talking about it. Art, comics, or kung fu. I don't shut up. So.
Well, that's what we're here for, dude. Talking in this case, geeks and comic stuff. So and art and everything, and we're dedicating this. Look, this is a topic that our great buddy Mark C loved, and he loved. This is his favorite artist on the toe. Yeah. So, if I don't have the list. I was trying to. I didn't get a chance to compile his list. That he did when we did it, but I should. I'd had to go back. He didn't send it to me. I think when we did that show, he wanted to surprise me. We wanted to surprise each other with our lists. So I don't have a copy of it. We just did it on the fly like that. So
right, yeah.
So now he had BYRNE at number 1. That's for sure. So he loves this stuff, and he loved comic book art. He loved a lot. He loved Kirby. He loved Wallace Wood, of course. He loved Walt Simonson. He loved Bernie Wrightson. He loved Steve Root. He loved he loved John Buscema. He loved John Romita. I mean, he loved all the greats. So
senior, not junior.
Did I say junior?
No, you didn't. You did not. No, you didn't say junior. I was
okay. Yeah,
I was just putting in my
Make the distinction, because the Pappy was the best.
Yep. Somebody, I think it was Rod Thunderheart, maybe asked, "What are your thoughts on the webbing for everybody, on the webbing under his armpits?" And I like it because I think it was something that nobody else had done. I think Spider-Man's costume was very original. If you go back and look at the time, everybody else was wearing long johns and wrestler's trunks, and he had those cool things. It was only going down the front of his costume, down his arms, stopped at the belt. And I think everything about this whole Spider-Man's costume design was way ahead of its time.
And Ditko was really the only one that stuck with that a lot. This is the complete homage to Ditko right here, because Ditko was the one because other artists just kind of got rid of the webbing. But I've always loved it.
Yeah, well, it's it takes time to draw, so people were trying to.
Oh, yeah. And the webs do too. It's sort of like people so a lot of artists said they didn't like drawing the Thing or Spidey because they had to draw all those rocks, or they had to draw all those webs.
That's why they put long pants on the Thing. Cut your drawing time in half. Yeah.
They did do that first every now and then. Yeah, they did it first and then later and stuff. Yeah, but no, yeah, that's right.
So, Thing and Blastar, who looks like they're winning?
Blastar can blast a lot, but Benji will take him down. It looks to me like Benji's winning.
See, I think if we went to,
I'm biased. Sorry.
No, it's I think if we asked people who were not comics aficionados, they might say, well, it looks like the guy on the right is landing a blow to the Rocky guy's shoulder. So, but in terms of like how much space they're taking up, who's on top, there's not really a, But he uses the Thing's arms to make the diagonal here. So anyway, and here he uses the Hulk's arms to make the diagonal as well.
Yeah.
Although in a almost completely symmetrical to the Thing's arms. So
yeah, BYRNE also hated drawing the rocks. That's why for a short time there, he drew. Remember when he made him lumpy for a while when he originally took over the series.
yeah.
But you know what? Even though I prefer the smoother, the later default refined. There's so many different versions of the way Ben looked. I kind of enjoyed it for a while when he did that. It was kind of fun when he put him back to the lumpy thing a little bit.
Yep. Same thing here. He's just dividing the screen diagonally. I should have gotten more of his compositions where they were showing other. Same thing. I think you showed. No, you showed one.
Oh, we showed a cover from this. This side looks like him doing almost sort of like an ode to himself a little bit in the classic Wolverine Alone story.
Yep.
Which catapulted to Wolverine into it really was the one that was sort of this breaking out type of a comic, and then later, of course, the Miller Claremont miniseries launched him into stardom. But
and that was the end of that was the end of oh crap, Superman artist at the time. One of your favorite. Kurt
Swan.
Yeah.
That
was the end of his career.
Well, it was a few years later that BYRNE. Whatever.
Well, I mean, it led to BYRNE becoming so popular, and then he said to DC, I want reboot Superman with #1, which he thought they would say no to, and then they said, okay, sorry, Kurt, we got this guy. And then a couple of years later, BYRNE got tired of it.
Yeah, Swan did go back on Action Comics Weekly though, and let Al Williamson ink him for a while. But that one you got there of Wolverine and Thing, at least in that one, the Wolverine isn't scratching Ben's face and making him wear a stupid mask forever like it happened later. Way after BYRNE, though. What BYRNE?
Yeah. Well, in this one, I would say, to me, it looks like, and I actually could have made this diagonal almost going the other way, too, using but I did what I did. But yeah, in this one, I think you'd have to say that if we look at, this image here, from left to right, the Thing is taking up about 2/3 of the screen space, and he's also punching Wolverine in the gut. So I think you have to say the Thing is winning this one.
Yeah, he's going to fly like 50 feet after that one, but it's a good thing he's had a man cam there.
Yeah.
Super Skrull.
Who's also what? Purple and green.
Yeah, purple and green. Super. The Skrulls are always purpley and greeny. Yeah, so yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
green skin.
It's an easy way to just emphasize that you're bad guys, bad guys. So.
Yes.
And if you don't believe me, go buy a green shirt and wear a purple shirt, green suit and wear a purple shirt with it, and people will not like you.
Not only that, gamma radiation apparently causes every pair of pants you wear to be purple. Just ask where's Banner.
And elasticish. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, here's his same thing again. He's bisecting the screen where the She-Hulk is mostly on the bottom left-hand side, and the Super Skrull is mostly on the top right. But he also, this is pretty clever, he also drew her arm so that it starts a curve, and it gets picked up by her boot, going here, if you can see my mouse. And then your eye follows that to the Super Skrull's arm, which leads you back up to his other arm, and it just brings your eye around the frame. So it forces you to look at his art a little bit more than you normally would, instead of just saying, oh, what happened next?
Yeah.
So here, Captain America's clearly winning, right?
He's what now? What'd you say?
Right here in this one panel, in this one frozen moment of time, Captain America is winning, I would say.
Yeah, it looks like he's got Batman. He's about to knock him over a railing or something.
Right, and we see Batman has this pained look on his face, like he just took a punch.
Never seen this one. This is nice.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you can see the Red Skull back there up in the corner, right? You see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could. Yeah, this Red Skull right there. That's got to definitely be from that team up book they did, or at least based on it, not from it, because that's him just doing a commission or something.
Right. Yeah, it could be.
Because he did a lot of commissions on his website.
Lot, yeah. But so here, what he's doing is he wants in this frame. I mean, Keely Chow is here. So
Keely Chow, roll tide, buddy.
I'm not going to say, dude. What are you saying? Roll tide for?
Well, out of courtesy. It's I'm sorry. Eat them up, Tigers. Roll tide. Saban sucks. There you go.
There you go. Now you're this on. Okay, so what BYRNE is doing here again for I'm taking Mark, Steven, place, is probably the guy that commissioned this is a Captain America fan. He's probably a Batman fan too, but he thinks Cap would win. So he's not only got the punch, he's not only got Batman falling over and he's grabbing with his hand the railing to hold on, and the pained look on his face. But also, Captain America is sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say I'm not sure how he throws the batarang with his hand around the railing, but good.
Yeah, I guess it's already. I guess it's been thrown and it's on its way back now.
It's boomeranging.
Yeah. Claude says Byrne's Bat Cat book was a landmark. Too bad it went away when the Moo 52 came along.
That was way before, decades before that, though. Yeah, that was from the '90s, mid '90s. The Batman Captain America came out, but yeah.
Keely Chow says Roll Tide.
You can say it all day, buddy. Roll Tide.
Yep. So anyway, so what he's doing here is, again, even though Batman, he's still got the muscles. He's still Batman. He's in his own home here. Maybe that's not the Batcave. I saw this.
I thought it was a Batcave at first, but when you look back, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. But anyway, so he's got Captain America closer to the camera. He's overlapping Batman, which gives him a stronger position. He's taking up slightly more of the frame. And again, you can see the diagonal split screen from top right to bottom left where Cap is on the right. And he's got him overlapping them. So unfortunately, Batman's colors don't really help because Cap's bright blue is also going to stand out to the eye more. So basically he chose this composition. Claude says that's the Red Skull's lair. Well, there you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, makes sense. There's the Red Skull. I haven't read that in about 25, 30 years, whatever, but it was when it first came out. But I actually want to reread that again. I love that one there you just had.
Captain Canuck?
No, the one you had with before that though. You had Ben and Johnny. That
one again. Yeah, where we started. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, and that brings us around full circle. Except I didn't show this one, but it's pretty obvious. Diagonal, separating the good guys from the bad guys.
Yeah, well, Byrne is Canadian, so there you go, Captain Canuck.
Yes, well, yeah, born in England and raised in Canada, eh?
Yep.
And that's right. The joke. That's a joke I was always making to Canadian Spider-Man and to Raquel and to Cloth is the way they spell their country is CANADA. So, and that this again is the bisecting of the screen with the Hulk. So
nice one.
And with that's all I have to say about that, Jenny.
Dude, that was impressive. Very well done. Big hand to Steve for that, folks. That was some fun stuff. And
big hand to Steve.
Great art expedition. I have one pick I wanted to show. One more thing that this is the first thing I've ever seen published with Byrne drawing Superman. This is from a book I bought in the early '80s, way before he went to DC. Called The Art of John Byrne. Was either in the interior or on the back cover. I can't remember now.
Apollonie's Minion is here.
Apollonie's Minion, welcome. Well, great to see you, love.
If we drank, we could make a drinking game out of where is Apollonie's Minion tonight. My guess is California.
Okay. And I hope the puppy's doing well.
Yes.
I've always loved this one here. This is my favorite. I mean, obviously, you know how I feel about his later stuff. Now, again, I can't remember if he inked this or Austin inked it. It may have been him because it was The Art of John Byrne. But that is, and anyway, so I think this is beautiful.
I would bet that's Byrne.
And you may just think maybe when he inked, even though I complain a lot about some of him inking himself, a lot of times I do understand he was dealing with deadlines as opposed to something like this. In an interview, in Byrne's infamous interview from Comics Journal number 57, and if you're a Byrne fan or you just want to read something, read that, but beware. It's fascinating. And again, they have those wonderful long-term interviews in that mag. He talked that they asked him what character would he want to do. Again, this was when he was in the thick of his run on X-Men, right? And they asked, and of course he said Superman, and he talked about, hey, D.D. Myers, what's up, buddy? He talked about how he loved, as I did, and then as you did, Superman the movie in 1978, Christopher Reeve film. And they said, well, what would you want to do with Superman? I forgot. It was something along those lines. And he said, well, I want to adapt the movie and go from there. Which, of course, you know that they would never let him do because you couldn't fit it into DC continuity. But that's what he said he wanted to do. And I'd have been kind of all for that, probably, to see him do that and let him have his own little universe, a comic based on the movie. That would have been kind of cool. It was,
Sure.
But when they signed him up for the big reboot, they were talking to a few different writers. They were trying to get Alan Moore. They were trying to get, Marv Wolfman was coming up with a lot of it. And they went with, of course, Byrne, jumped at it, but he had to put it in that obviously it needed to fit into sort of a post-crisis DC universe. And so he did his own thing, and he contradicted some things from the movie, like having Clark Kent play football, which was really stupid, stuff like that. But nevertheless, before all that, this will always stand out to me as the way I would love to have seen him do a Superman comic. Looking like that. So if he did, it'll never happen, but it would have been cool to see him do one. And it would have been probably kind of fun to see a comic based on that particular solo universe of Superman based on the film. But, Anyway, I just wanted to show that because I think that's a beautiful piece of his work.
I think he did actually put some little nods to Superman the movie in the Man of Steel comic book. For example, there's a line where I don't need a geography lesson from you, Luthor. Oh, that's right. You get around.
Well, like I said, he loved the movie.
Yeah, and he did use that, when I think he was talking to Lex Luthor or somebody says, in the words of the Bee Gees, I get around. And I think that was there were a few other little things I think he was paying homage to the movie. I have to say, I thought it was good that he played football because the guy's got to explain having all those muscles. If you're that muscular, even if you're wearing a suit, it shows.
How do you explain when you can't tackle a dude? He might have superpowers. So he had to let himself get tackled and crap like that. It made no sense because he claimed to love the movie. Well, what happens at the beginning of the movie when Jeff East outruns the train and basically when Glenn Ford Kent says, you've been showing off a little bit, haven't you, son? And they have the conversation and all those things, and he basically says, you are here for a reason. I don't know who reason, whatever, but maybe it's because I don't know, but I do know one thing. It's not to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Thank you. Byrne, who loved that movie, totally contradicted and flew in the face of that, in my opinion.
Well, that's I think they're both good points. In the words of my old friend Mike, well, I can't say his last name, but Mike, old friend of mine. He said, I like the Dark Knight Detective, and I like the Batman on the TV show, and I like and I can have all these different versions, and so that's my point.
Oh, look.
Mike was a wise guy. He was you listen to him. Before we go on, somebody, and I think it was D Bud, said excellent discussion on composition. So I just wanted to say thank you, D Bud.
Oh, thank you, Canadian Spider. I appreciate that.
I'm channeling Mark. Yeah. So
yes, I'm sure he would approve. Or you might come down and say, "Listen, you chuckleheads. Let me tell you something." But it's all for him. Dielberg. When he was inking himself, Byrne, I think, and he was just doing roughs and did most of his drawing with the inks. Marvel did want to pay him for pencils. Didn't want to pay him, but they did. There was a pay structure there. I remember when he took on for FF, he was getting paid for writing, penciling, and inking. 3 separate jobs. So I don't know how that exactly panned out, and I guess that was true when he went to DC.
Yeah, that's a shrewd observation. I never would have thought of that.
So, and maybe he liked that. He got paid for 3 jobs because he wouldn't have any ownership of the characters. So,
can you throw up Claude's comment at 8:09?
Remember how mad you were when Byrne told Jane Pauley on the Today Show there would be no more Super Cat, Super Bat, Super Aardvark, Super Couch. He even said, yeah. Well, it was worse in Amazing Heroes or something. Or somewhere in the comic book press right before the revamp thingy, he said, nothing ever happened to Superman unless I say so. And that always galled me. But guess what, everyone? There's 40 years of water under the bridge and that stuff. I don't hate it as much as I don't like it. I hate a lot of it. and it did lead to a lot of bad revisionism in comics, which is not good. It didn't do the kind of damage that the darkening of comics like Watchmen or Dark Knight did, but it did lead to a lot of bad revisionism. However, compared to the crap now, I'll take any. It's not even close. For example, compared to the garbage now, I would take that any day. D. Oberg says, this is when he started fighting with the editors. That's when we ended up with that snowblind issue of Alpha Flight.
See, I thought he was just behind his deadline, and
I don't know.
I remember it was like 4 or 5 pages or something, just nothing. But yeah,
let's see here. Rod Thunder, can we give a shout out to Christopher Reeve? Well, shout out to Christopher Reeve. Love him.
All hail Christopher Reeve.
Hell yeah, I love that man. Because he made Superman when he flew and raised his arms as if angling. It made Superman. I love that scene. This country is safe again, Super Steve. Thanks to me. I mean, you. Sorry.
Don't thank me, Clobby. We're all on the same team.
Oh my goodness.
Clobby and I have been quoting this movie for 30-something years now.
Dude, we could be getting closer to 40.
Every time, like I would go over to Clobby's place and knock on the door. He'd open up and say, "Be a pet and mail this for me, will you?"
Well, you get to the minutiae of the quotes here. Every.
No,
they sound like Beetlejuice, and it gets funny every single time.
Every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact you're talking to a dead guy here. Now, what do you think? Am I qualified?
Hey.
Except for when they did the Hulk return, whichever one it was.
Kogi Pan.
Konnichiwa. No, that'd be daytime.
Yeah, you're talking about the one with Thor.
Yeah, I'd knock on your door and you'd say, "What is it that you knock on my door with such insolence?" Eric Kramer.
Yeah, that was the which one? That was the not Trial. There was another one. There was the Returns and Trial, and there was Death Up. I think it was the Returns.
Hang on, Phantom Outsider is probably going to tell us, or Claude will.
One of those.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hulk TV movies, but but yes. So yeah, everyone. Like, wow! I tell you what. I hope that this would have been something that our great buddy, the great Mark C, would have enjoyed and appreciated us doing. Everyone, this would have been his 48th birthday. He was a great friend of this show. Of course, he has and a big shout out again, everyone, to his wonderful family on this, this bittersweet day for them, but we wanted to do something fun, pay our homage in our tribute and celebrate his birthday by talking about something that he loved, which was comic books, comic book art, and in particular, his favorite artist, John Byrne. And, if he's still with us, he'd be here talking Byrne. And I guess, I don't know, Steve, if he'd have told me his birthday, he probably wouldn't, kind of guy he was. But if I had known it, I'd have said, well, if you're not celebrating your birthday, dude, it's Monday night. Why don't you come on and I'll tell you what, just for you, pal, we'll talk about Byrne. Maybe I would have thought of that. I don't know, but I'm not that thoughtful, so I don't know. But I know he would have loved doing it. He would have loved doing it, though.
Yeah, I think he and I probably would have ganged up on you.
It would have been, and we would have had you on. That would have been cool to have you on. I'm glad this is also your debut here, and I hope it will be nowhere near your first, man. You got to come hang out with me and talk all kind of different other comics and other stuff for sure.
Absolutely.
But Elizabeth says he would have loved this, especially after the Pirates lost. Yes, I knew he was a Pirates fan. Yeah, he's a Pittsburgh Pirates fan as well. So let's say a bit of a show. Go ahead.
There is one more thing I wanted to say.
Sure.
And I think Jack has left the chat. Is that correct?
I don't know. But Jack, if you're still here, or even if you're not.
No, I kind of want to say something behind his back. So.
Okay, well, I don't know then. Jack, you still here, buddy? That would be Mrs. Gas Mask. It is late. He's a young tyke, so I don't know if he's been forced to go to sleep or not. So I don't know. Maybe you want to.
Well, it was about what we were talking about earlier because of his interest in animation.
Well, I don't know if he's still there or not.
Okay.
I can't tell you. I've not seen him pop in lately. But
we should.
He was here earlier, so.
Okay.
Anyway, shout out to you, Jack. By the way,
yeah.
We appreciate you, buddy.
We should get that thing that I was talking about for him. I think he would really enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Big shout out, all of you, to Mark's family. Jack's mama was here earlier. Jack was here earlier. Shout out to you. Love to you. Love to Lisa P, who had to leave, and love to Elizabeth and Elisa and all of the family of the great Mark C, as he is known widely on YouTube, and of course as your brother and father and everything else, and friend, who is of course known as Stephen, Mark Stephen Chure. We'll never forget him. This will always be Monday night Mark C Comics Talk. And happy birthday, buddy, wherever you are out there, bro. I'm not trying to bring everybody down, but it is bittersweet. It is fairly new to us, but love to him, and this was to celebrate him. So, love to you, buddy.
Clobby, I know Clobby is, I think, an agnostic. So a few people have said in the chat, "God bless Mark C." And I am not an agnostic, so I will agree and say yes.
I agree also.
God bless the soul.
God bless Mark C. Absolutely. And we miss you, buddy. We miss you. So, I almost feel terrible doing show notes after that. So before we say our goodbyes to everyone here, I will just do that. But I'll do it real quickly. Monday night, Open Geekness, same bat time, 8 p.m. Central. I don't know what I'll be doing, but it'll be openy and geeky. It'll be free flowing. It'll be
Scuba Pete.
Hey, Scuba Pete popped in.
Yeah,
I can't do it as well as Raquel, but Scuba Pete.
Hey, Scuba, we did a little bit of a different thing tonight, so hope you will watch it. We talked about Mark's favorite comic book artist, so I hope you will go back and watch the stream and share it, and everybody will like and comment. And now, back to Cloppy.
Indeed. Wednesday night, Open Geekness, and then Thursday, everyone. It's been having a fantastic time with the Global Geek Gang. Love y'all for hanging out with us. What a crowd we're getting every Thursday. That's 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, just again, thanks to everyone who shows up for that and who hangs out with us for that. It is terrific. And then, of course, this Saturday night, 9 p.m. Central, Raquel and I will be back for the final 5. 5 more to go for Star Trek, the original series. Review episodes, and then the week after that, we'll start with the animated series, reviewing all of real Star Trek. So that's what's on tap for Clobberin Times this week. And this, if you
haven't been to Star Trek Saturday night, you got to go. It's so much fun. Clobby and Raquel have this great chemistry together, and then you have people like Scuba Pete and Snortapoopus and Mark D with a C. These guys are hysterical. They add a lot, and this may sound pathetic. I look forward to this all week.
We do too.
And I have to try and get Maddie to bed on time, so that I can listen. So that I can listen in. But that little girl, she's my entire heart, but she hates sleeping.
Oh, so beautiful, Maddie. I hope she's doing great, man. I hope she's doing great.
Thank you, sir.
Dude, we appreciate you, man. We have Raquel and I, my wonderful first officer, we have so much fun doing that show. You all make it 10 times more fun, though, the way we hang out, and we're just having a blast doing Saturday Night Star Trek. So if you're a Star Trek fan, please join. Thank you, JT Kirk. I appreciate that. Now, I don't have a list of everyone who was here tonight. First of all, again, thank you to Mark C's wonderful sisters, Elisa and Elizabeth, and his cool son, Jack, and Jack's mama. Bless you all. And again, also thank you. Menimus was here. The great Mark D with a C was here. Scuba Beat popped in. The great Rod Thunderheart, D. Bud Martin, JT Kirk, Canadian Spider-Man does whatever the spider can. The Catman, a.k.a. Edie Myers. Mark the Infinitely Tired was here earlier, I remembered. Let's see here. This is someone, Apollome's Minion and the Pup. D. Bud Martin. D. Oberg, brother, always good to see you, man. Phantom Outsider, we appreciate you, buddy. Alex James, Pop Culture Archivist, Jed, if that's you, bro, whichever one, I think it is. Jed, the great Eric K, brother, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here, buddy, as well as the great Chris Peja, some master of wrenches. The great Pat S was here. I remember that. Did I get Alex James? Alex James. Well, I got him twice. I may have gotten him twice. Alex
he
James,
deserves it.
He does. He does.
He's a
indeed.
good guy.
Absolutely. We got so many great people. You guys are all the best.
Clobby,
Pam?
can I interrupt you for just 1 second?
Sure.
Chris Persia always takes a time to say something about Maddie, and it just means a lot to me. So I just want to say thank you, Chris Persia, for doing that.
Absolutely. Chris Persia's good people. He's a great guy, great friend of the show. So many great friends of the show.
This is the best crew ever. I mean, these guys are just like all top notch. The best of the best.
They are fan. All of you guys, you make it special for us. You really do. I always apologize if I'm butchering it, but Kogi Pan, or do you say Kog Pan? I don't know how you say it. Kogapan? Kogapan? I don't know how you say it. You're better at that pronunciation thing than I am, Steve. The great Rod Thunderheart, appreciate you, brother. Make sure I want to catch as many of you as I can. Keely Chow is here. Roll Tide to you, my friend. It's great to see you here. Go Tigers, of course. Let's see here. I do believe we got everyone. I sure hope we did. I'm going to play us out now. And always big shout out to the great Stone Loki for this wonderful outro that he made for me. See you all Wednesday night. Everyone have a fantastic rest of the night and day tomorrow. Oh, I forgot. Tomorrow on Loki's comic book roundtable. I'm not sure whose channel is on, but I'll put it up there. 7 p.m. Central.
Clobby, thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Thank you, buddy. It's been fantastic.
It was an honor to be here on Mark's birthday. So.
Well, we're honored to have you for your debut, and I hope we'll have you many times since, bro. Good night, everyone.
Bye.